And so we're live. All right, we're live on YouTube. And I need to adjust my chat. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're live on Instagram and live on YouTube. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. What I have on the screen is obviously the Antifa pretty much protests. So we're taking a look at that. This is live right now. We got all kind of characters that you can see. I'm gonna put the sound on in a second, but I just started up the live stream, guys. So we're kind of getting warmed up here. And the replay of them going after Patel. So we got a couple of things that just happened. So we got Jasmine Crockett going off on Cash Patel. Jen, boom, baby. What's up, Benjamin? How are you, bud? Good to see you, man. Hell yeah. Hopefully my sound is working. Yeah, my sound is on. Wow, this is crazy. You got all kinds of characters. What's up, Bowtie? What's up, Jen? Oh. Handle it. Do what you gotta do. Let us know if we can help, Jen, if you need anything. One love, baby. One love. Hell yeah. I got some new things to announce today. I have some YouTube membership things in the works, and they might get approved hopefully soon, and we can go live with memberships, which will have some pretty interesting perks, actually. I try to do something very different from what other people are offering on YouTube, so that we can get things. We're gonna have a little fun with this, you know. And then we're gonna give some OGs. OGs will have automatic memberships, and we'll get you dialed in with free memberships. All right, we got people coming in on YouTube, guys. We're currently watching the Antifa kind of riots or whatever you want to call it at these different ICE facilities around our country, and so we're keeping an eye on that, and we have some other things. So I do want to pull in some other things in here while we're getting up and running. There you go. Hello. All right. Yeah, these people are nuts. They are surrounding ICE facilities. I know, bro. I know. No, I just got started. We'll get it ramped up here soon, bro. Don't you worry. We just started up, so it'll pick up pretty quick, bro. We'll get going. Let's see here. We got Cash Patel, Cash, and Jasmine Crockett. Let's see. I guess there's some kind of heated debate. Jasmine Crockett. Should be something brand new that just happened right now. Jen, if you do see that, let me know. Jen just mentioned that, so we'll pull that into something with Jasmine Crockett and Cash Patel. Apparently they went off on each other, so we'll check that out. Or Jasmine Crockett went off on him. When is this? Is this recent here?
And shout back. She calmly reached for a small silver USB, plugged it in, and pressed play. Patel's own voice filled the chamber.
All right, let's see here. Let's see what's going on in these riots or protests or whatever you want to call it. Yep, here they come, bro. Here they come.
Let me see if I got anything that came through. My other phone's about to die.
I'm gonna back up to look at some of these other things here.
I think really there's just a lot of mental illness down here.
Bernie says, was it Ebonics, Jasmine? I don't know. We never know what we're going to get. And Bernie Smith on Instagram says, paid agitators. Yeah, man. Yeah, but with Jasmine Crockett, we don't know which, which Jasmine Crockett we're going to get. Is she going to have her down south accent? Is she going to have her, cleaned up accent? We don't know which Jasmine we're going to get. So
I don't want to say that to be rude. He was an EMT. I'm not.
Okay, I'm just going to forward through this. This was just live, but I'm going to skip around and see what's up.
No idea. Live?
Freezing. It's time for a wish, but I'm like super excited.
All right, so we
Put
got...
that on our jacket.
It's nice to see, man. We got the Patriots. We got Charlie Kirk out there, man. So good to see that. So good to see that. And of course, that's going to trigger everybody out there, dude. Yeah. We got the Free Palestine stuff. You know, we got the upside down flag. You saw some upside down flags?
All right.
Not there.
Wearing clothes.
Okay, we got these guys holding it down on the rooftops.
A couple years ago.
You went missing, bro. Oh no, I'm sorry. I left to go give all my stuff and give me a hard time.
Okay, we're on the Patriot side.
Hitler?
Yeah. By that sign earlier?
Isn't that called judging?
Kind of nothing else to do.
Let's
and
see what
they
she says here. We got
just
furry.
latched
Do we have
on to
furries? Oh no,
this-
it's just a
this
sweater.
Antifa movement, whatever you can call it, this crowd of people.
Kelly Odell, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat.
Fuck you, fucking Nazi pig. Fuck you, Nazi pig. Fuck you, Nazi pig.
Chrissy,
All
thank you.
right.
Thank you, BCP.
Fuck you. I don't fucking try to. I don't fucking try to.
And we're watching here, his
You
name
got
is
a
BCP.
mouth on her, dude.
Fucking dumb. Sorry.
Wow. Now I'm dumb because I didn't know that?
Yeah.
He is a
So I'm
black
supposed to
man.
know that he
No,
liked
it's
Hitler?
very fucking obvious.
So they have no idea how to handle this
Anything about
situation.
Nazis, it's very fucking obvious.
If I know any of that, I mean,
You got a
I'm
mouth
black.
on her, dude.
I would know a
You
little
don't
bit.
have to be white to support white supremacy. That's pretty fucking easy.
So
Fuck you, racist bastard.
that's a new thing. You're not white?
No, I'm not arguing with you. Fuck Nazis.
Like them?
With them, fuck you too.
Like them?
Yes.
What? Can you get your no? Get your comrade
Fuck you.
killed by white people?
I don't know what you're doing, bro. I don't know why you're even here.
I'm talking to you. I'm
She's
trying to learn
dude,
something
straight
from you.
mental,
Educated
bro.
me.
I don't get what's
She
going
has no
on here.
idea. She's
I'm
so
not
dumb.
talking to you.
Oh, who are you talking to?
Nobody.
You're not talking to nobody?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm talking to them.
Bro.
Fuck you, Nazi racist bastard. Get the fuck out of Portland.
It's like she thinks that's who she's talking to. It's like, no, you're so stupid. These people are so stupid. Okay. We're having a couple service issues a little bit down here.
I'll volunteer for free. Yeah, free. Yeah.
Boring. Fucking loser.
There are a lot of people
Okay, I
down
don't
here,
see the upside
right?
down flags
There's a lot of
there,
people
but
down
I
here
wouldn't
now,
be
folks.
surprised, bro. I don't know. She's only got 2 masks. She's not safe enough. She needs 4 more.
Hear me out.
Okay, let's see what happened here.
Bit last night. Probably use them also to try to blow helicopters out of the sky. So this concern, this threat is not without precedent. They have done this in the past numerous. Folks, we were, but we'll give.
Update.
Thank you.
Give you a little update of what's gone on today. So got down here at 2 o'clock. There's probably only about 20 or 30 people on the corner, on that corner right here, where these crazy dinosaurs
Trying to get
are
the
at.
volume up
Listen
here,
up here.
guys.
30 people. Some ladies right over here by the stop sign that were
It had its own.
cool. You do the Donald Trump.
What did she say? That Jesus was.
Black Lives Matter. Don't forget about Jesus, though. Don't forget about Jesus.
The guy that got nailed by a bunch of Roman dudes, I think about him every night.
Oh, that wasn't good, you demon demonic.
What did she say? That Jesus was the guy that got nailed up by a bunch of Jews. I think that's what they
People
just...
are devils.
She...
Nick is over there.
These people really are just evil. They're just freaking twisted.
I'm glad I caught that.
Just sickening.
Glad I caught that.
Is that person wearing a
I will
mask,
say
or
that
is
you guys
that
are pretty
their
nice,
face?
though.
That's on
Honestly,
mask.
you guys are pretty cool. You do the
Wow,
Donald
bro.
Trump. He came to save and to be a redeemer.
Being treated this way. The curb, and a DHS officer who's turned to Jesus when it comes to this one. I think it's a
For sinners.
okay.
That's a. We're not coming yet.
Let's see what he says here.
Remain on the sidewalk or across the street. Everyone must leave this restricted area and may be subject to detention or arrest.
Well, yeah, we might have to come back to this in a minute.
This is the classic. If God is real, then why do bad things happen? You probably should have kept going to Sunday school, dude. You probably
State
dropped
line,
out of
what's up,
Sunday
buddy?
school a little bit too early on that one.
Taken to custody, and I can't speak for him, obviously.
So if we look at the Bible, because there's one thing you're focused on. You're talking about the immigrants, but that Jesus didn't really come for the immigrants. He came to save and to be a redeemer for sinners.
Okay.
That's across the board.
So
That's across the board. No
And-
matter if it's immigrants, no matter if it's patriots, no matter if it's left-winger, right-wingers, it's across the board.
okay. So then I have a question here. I can respect the fact that you have your own opinion, and I think that's okay, and you're allowed to voice that for sure.
Uh-huh.
My thing is I don't understand why people always want to turn to Jesus when it comes to this one. I think it's a human moral question. You know, if your kids were taken away and treated the way that they treat kids and they treat people, would you be a fan of that?
But when you say that, are you talking about the laws of our land? Because that's where it has to first start. See,
Okay.
there's a lot of gray areas in this whole thing.
And that is true. It's a very complex thing.
Yes.
So, but I think also...
And here's the other thing. Were people upset when Obama was doing this?
Yes.
Who? I didn't
Me.
see. Okay, maybe you were.
And
But I don't think-
You
Dude,
are
you were
right.
like 10 years
The people
old.
are
You were not
definitely
upset.
escalating it
You were
because
10.
of who's in office.
Right.
I will agree with you.
Okay.
But for me, it's not about Republican or Democrat. It's not about who's in charge of the country. It's
Yeah, State Line, this is Portland ICE facility. Just kind of looking at this for now, getting the stream warmed up, but just checking this out and seeing what's
about
up.
people treating people a certain way. And that's where it affects me. And for me, I don't care if it would be white folks being treated that way, or men or women or whoever being treated that way. If people are being treated that way, I don't like it, because we are all
Being treated what way? So he's complaining about ICE taking illegal immigrants and taking them hopefully out of our country. If any of us went to any other country illegally, they would do the same thing or worse to us. So what exactly is he talking about?
here together in this country, all of us.
Right.
And I think we need to fight for what's right. And honestly, I don't want this to be a violent thing. I really don't. But when I was here,
There's always a but. Did you hear that? I don't want this to be a violent thing, but
I was simply trying to help a blind man up the curb. He couldn't see, and I was trying to help him up the curb. And a DHS officer runs out, punches me in the throat, and pushes the blind man on the ground. Do you think that's okay?
That didn't happen.
I think
That did not happen.
I'm not going to dismiss what you're saying.
That did not happen.
I'm going to say I don't know the full context of that. Okay, to be fair. Now I want to back up a little bit regarding, you said you don't care if it was white people, Hispanic, black, or right? Now I'm going to challenge that, because when white people do get shot by police officers or military or law enforcement.
Bernie in Instagram says Russia sends people to hard labor for several years if you enter illegally. I didn't know that, bro.
Usually white people do not protest another white person getting shot.
And the only thing I can say back to that is there hasn't been a violent history of it.
But whether
And I can't speak for everyone. I can't.
right, but whether there's been a violent history.
What about Charlie Kirk
we're
a
talking
month
about
ago?
yourself, though, what you don't like.
Okay.
So if that's going to be the same across the board, how people are treated in regards to these type of things, then you have to also defend white people.
And that's the thing. It's about all people. I don't care if it's white people. I still am going to be upset.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And this isn't about we want to be upset about it. It's because we want to be upset because humans are being treated this way. I don't see it as immigrants are being treated this way or Mexicans are being treated this way. I see it as humans are being treated this way.
Right.
And I don't understand why people can't look at it like that. Why can't they?
Why can't you look at it in the way that everyone with common sense is looking at it? He's saying he can't understand why people can't look at it his way, because they are coming in illegally and they should not be here illegally. They should be coming here legally. We want to uphold our laws. We want to get a handle on this invasion. It's not immigration at this point. It was invasion under Joe Biden.
See that it's humans. It's a human life.
This is why I want to be out there, guys. This is why I said, should I get out there with my live stream equipment and go out there and talk to these guys myself, man?
I don't think that they can't see that as a human life. I think it, again, it's complex because it goes to a border issue. Because you have people, and I've been at the border.
Okay,
I've been
here we
there.
go.
I went there to document and do the same thing I'm doing here. Not as much as some of my other friends. They've been there for like a year, 2 years doing it. And you see things that's like, okay, why is that allowing? Why are so many illegals that are coming across the river and our National Guard is helping them up and taking them to buses, and the buses are shipping them wherever? That's really happening. So we have to be against the rules of that. Like, okay, why isn't our border more locked down?
And really the only thing I can say is I understand why there's borders. I do.
Right. You have a border at your house. I'm sure you lock the door at night.
Exactly.
You don't want people to come in, break in.
Exactly.
I get it. And that's the thing. I understand.
Agree, state line.
A little bit of both sides. What I don't understand, I don't stand for, is they don't need to have the excessive force that they use. They don't need to be smashing into windows. They should not be coming in and taking kids violently from schools, because kids had no choice.
They're not taking kids violently from schools, first of all. Second of all, if your governors and your states would stop blocking, then they would do what they know how to do and do it properly, and remove these people from our country. It was a mass invasion. They're talking about the borders. Borders have already been breached for the last 4+ years, 4 years and more, one could argue. But that's already done. Borders are now secure, but we got to do a cleanup, bro. It's a cleanup. That's what we're doing.
This person is just so stupid and so
Knew that he
naive.
was crossing a border and knew that he was committing a
Naive and
right,
stupid.
and they don't. But use like the foster care system. If parents are bad, they come and take the kids, right?
Yes.
It's almost the same type of thing.
But the thing is, what if those immigrants that came here were perfectly good parents?
And they could have been, but you're still breaking the law, right?
Yeah.
They could be good parents, but you're still breaking the law.
Okay,
Yeah.
And my only thing I can say on that is there are some laws that are not right.
But
there are some laws that are not right. Well, let's hear this.
people to change that,
Exactly,
right?
and that's why we're here. We want change.
Okay.
What laws are not right? We have immigration laws just like any other country. When you come in the country, we want to know who you are. We got to vet you. We got to see what's up. We can't just, hey, everyone just run in here, bro. It's all good.
And that's all.
I respect
No.
that. I respect that. Cool. Oh, boy.
We're having a standoff here. I need to give a big shout out. Massive super chat here on YouTube. Canadian veteran, medical
What's
officer,
up,
flight
Ange?
surgeon, and retired county coroner. Well, you're just a badass. What the hell? You're like the coolest guy ever. Hey, thank you. That's awesome. From all of us vets, sadly, this is $100 with the exchange rate. You know, hey, I appreciate that a lot. We have a lot of based Canadians. I know we do, conservative Canadians that tune into this show that are watching the videos, and you're one of them. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I was a little bit late to get on top of that one there. Thank you very much.
Oh, boy.
We got 99 problems, but Antifa ain't one. Thank you very much.
They got the old school jams on, dude.
Very, very simply put, listen, if you are a parent and you do not want to be separated from your children by force, do not commit a crime.
Do not come in here illegally.
By nature of illegally invading this country, every single illegal alien has terminologically committed a crime, the crime of violating our immigration law that all of us American citizens democratically agreed upon. The American citizens, that's us, we have time and time again decided we don't want an open border. We do want mass deportations. We do want ICE to get rid of these people. President Trump has tried to get rid of these people through the Mr. Nice Guy methodology. Trump still to this day is paying illegal aliens $1,000 and giving them a free plane ticket to get out of the country. Trump has said, please, listen, you got to go. It's time to go. You need to go. You need to self-deport. Now, we actually have had...
Oh, dude, Jen, what happened? Everything okay? What? I'm down here. Phil went to the ER. He's 2 hours from us, but my hubby's sisters are down there. Send prayers, dude. Prayers out to Phil. Who's Phil? I don't know who that is. What happened? Tell us more.
Hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens already self-deport. A lot of them are doing that. But for the ones that are not self-deporting, what do? Well, you have to get them out by force. Nobody wants to see people thrown in the back of vans. That's what has to happen, though, if these people refuse to comply with the law that we, the American people, have enacted through our democratic process.
Well, we're also not there's another layer to this, is they're not complying with the laws. They continue to not comply with the laws. And then we have other people that are virtue signaling, Antifa out here, running around, blocking cars, blocking gates, blocking entrances, committing violence on our ICE officers, just exacerbating the whole issue. So we have we have more layers than that. We have all the media against ICE. We have, everything is going against, dude, people are doxing them, trying to record everything they do, find out who their families are, find out where they live, find out it's just everything is going against them, is stacked up against them.
Yes. The American people have said enough is enough. These people have got to go. So if you're not willing to comply, if you are hiding out in our country after illegally invading, you got to get the hell out. And this is what it looks like. Regrettably, very regrettably, these people have brought it upon themselves. I wish they didn't, but they have. That is a them problem.
Venmo Alex says they define whiteness as capitalist.
Of course.
Thus, white privilege is capitalist privilege, and you would be the black face of white. Yeah.
I'm going to rewind that so we can hear that one more time. Bernie Smith on Instagram says, how are sanctuary cities even legal? That's a great question, buddy. That's a great question. Let's rewind this and listen to this one more time.
Whiteness as capitalist.
So they define whiteness as capitalist, he says.
Thus, white privilege is capitalist privilege, and you would be the black face of white. Yeah, that's basically what they say. You're right, 100%. Privilege, and you would be.
I wish they didn't, but they have.
Here we go.
That is a
Listen to this.
problem.
Venmo Alex says they define whiteness as capitalist.
They define whiteness as capitalist.
Thus, white privilege is capitalist privilege.
Thus, white privilege is capitalist privilege. That's what they're saying. That's what he's saying right now. That's what these guys, I guess, are saying.
And you would be the black face of white.
And you would be the black face of white.
Yeah, that's basically what they say. You're right, 100%.
Benjamin says,
Spaz.
lucky I'm
Thank you
tan,
for the
so is
super
Medi.
chat. Spaz.
It depends on the day, buddy. Some days I'm white. Dude, my mom is whiter than most white people. So is Miss Medication. She'll come on the stream in a little bit.
Went to church for the first time.
Right now, we are tuning into this broadcaster on YouTube. His name is the BC Preacher. I want to give a shout out to him. You guys can go follow him. I'm going to drop a link in the Rumble and the YouTube chat. Thank you, folks, for being here. If you are new, make sure to subscribe. And Republicans own defend that because they can't. Frankly, they can't.
But yeah, guys, it's been crazy.
How do we decide who gets to be a... See all this stuff? Whoa, laser attack. Look at that. Oh, not gonna tolerate. Do you think the...
And all the rest is same people.
So, guys, this is obviously live. It's been live. I'm just kind of going, scrubbing through and taking a look to see what's happening. So we're not just sitting here watching, just the live. We'll go to live in a second, but I'm looking to see kind of what's happening. Get some of the kind of gist of what's happening there, and then
I
we're
will
going to move
note,
on to some
I'm
other
just
stuff.
taking a look over here. We did kind of just have a little SmackDown session here.
Benjamin says, only my thighs are white. My shorts keep them white. Yes, sir. My thighs and my butt are super white, bro.
Nobody even left. Nobody actually left the show. We've got actually the same amount. Different Kathy. Thank you, Heather Schmidt.
All right, let's go straight
Honestly,
live.
but
Okay, so now
I kind of like to.
So now this is straight live, and they're still out there outside of an ICE facility. Only my thighs are white. Yep. Jen says, thank you. Just worried about my mother-in-law. She sounds so exhausted. She hasn't slept since she came. Okay, so Jen, what happened here? What happened? Let's see. Jen says, thank you, Benjamin. Father-in-law. He's in the 80s, has COPD, and was just found catatonic. But he came to as the paramedics got here. My mother-in-law. Okay, hopefully he's okay. Thoughts and prayers go out, Jen. Sorry to hear that.
3 hours cup of. I can't be having coffee this late. I'm not that nut.
All right, so I want to go and take a look at a few other things. I'm going to play the beginning of this real quick because this is very interesting. I thought if you haven't heard this, I think it's worth listening to this.
Well, not to be depressing, but here's the truth and something you should keep in mind over the next few years. The United States, two things to keep in mind. The United States is moving, not inexorably, but still moving toward civil war, number one. And number two, civil wars are the very worst kind of wars, worse than any kind of war fought against a foreign adversary. So to number one, why is America moving towards civil war? For the same reason all countries that wind up in civil war get there, because the differences between their population, between people within their borders, becomes too great to bear. People decide, I have nothing in common with the people who live near me, and I don't want to live near them anymore. In other words, diversity, difference, is actually intolerable to most people. Not necessarily racial diversity, though sometimes that too, but diversity of all kinds. It is not our strength. In fact, it is, without question, our weakness, and it has always been. If you have nothing in common with your wife, do you have a stronger marriage? No, of course your marriage falls apart, and the same is true for countries. And the truth about the United States is that on every level, beginning with a demographic level, the American population has less in common with itself, with one another, than ever before. When I was born, which wasn't that long ago, it was the modern era. It was air travel and air conditioning, electricity. When I was born, the United States was about 90% white Christian. It's now less than 40% white Christian. Now, you may think that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a massive change, an unprecedented change, really, in a very short period of time. And of course, it's not accidental or organic. That was the result of policies put in place to achieve that result, and they did. There are people who didn't want a majority white Christian country. Okay, they got what they wanted. But what do they have? They have a country with no majority demographically at all. There is no American majority, which is to say 51% of people who have something very basic in common.
Well, I mean, we do still have a majority white, but it's nowhere near what it was, just as he said. And half of the country is being taught or is trying to convince the rest of the country that being white is a bad thing. So we have that. But there is something where I kind of have a different take on the fact that there may or may not be a civil war happening or something like that. So I want to talk about that, but I'm going to let him keep going before I do.
And so what you have is an inherently fractured country. Languages, religions, ethnicities, backgrounds, beliefs, too innumerable to catalog. And so a country like that, unless unified by something, will split apart, particularly when that country is the size of stuff over the years.
Oh, shit.
Oh, marijuana worse each and every time. Probably will never be resolved because the people usually for the worse. So disunity is easy. Rebuilding in people in the South.
Sorry, guys, I skipped on accident.
Articulate why all of us should live together on the same. You are very self-conscious. There are people who didn't want a majority white Christian country. Okay, they got what they wanted. But what do they have? Languages, say 51% of people who have something very basic in common. And so what you have is an inherently fractured country. languages, religions, ethnicities, backgrounds, beliefs, too innumerable to catalog. And so a country like that, unless unified by something, will split apart, particularly when that country is the size of a continent and is held together by a pretty fragile web of infrastructure, air routes and highways. And so unless you are very self-conscious about keeping it together physically, but also spiritually, explaining to people why they should have any regard at all, much less any obligation to people in, say, the next town, much less the next state, unless you do that self-consciously, unless you inculcate a sense of national identity, it will by nature fall apart. That is a physics principle, entropy. It'll blow up unless you hold it together. And this has been an untended garden for decades. Decades. Nobody in charge of the United States over the past, say, 40 years has really tried to articulate why all of us should live together on the same continent. There's kind of been an unspoken ethos of America, a kind of gay rights technocracy, globo homo. We're all kind of cool with, lifestyles. But that's thin gruel in the end. It's also repulsive. But even if you like it, it's not enough to hold people together who don't have common beliefs, backgrounds, languages, religions. It's just not. It's pathetic. It's rich people politics. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just an adornment. It's political jewelry. It's a bumper sticker. It's not a national identity, and it's not enough to hold your country together.
So a couple points that are huge. One is obviously, I totally agree, where we have one side of the political spectrum always trying to cut us up into smaller and smaller pieces, divide us up into different pieces. Oh, well, these people are black, those people are this religion, these people are this thing. Now we have the pronouns. This person is a Zer. This person is you're not even male anymore. You're cis male, cis female, trans male. It goes on, and they cut it up. This one is a trans male with blue hair. It's eventually going to get cut up into all these different things, and everyone has their own category. And now you can't talk to this person because you don't understand their category, and they're trying to do all that stuff. But I have a different take, a slightly different take, and what I'm going to say here is that he's right he says that we're divided or that we don't agree. Now, I will say, and I've said this before on the live stream, we are a country that has freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and we will argue with each other and debate each other, and we will often do that fiercely. Here, when and where we can. Now, the thing is, though, yes, we do that fiercely, but in the end, we're all American. And I've said this before, we're all American. We all love being American, despite some of us acting like it's the worst. They will say it's the worst country in the world and all this kind of stuff, but there's nowhere else they'd rather go, because deep down in their hearts and minds, they know that they're living in the best country in the world, and it's worth defending, and it's worth defending each other. So we all know that. We all agree, I think, on that for the most part. And now, I can't say for the youngest generation being brought up, I can't say I speak for them 100% because I'm, getting a little bit older, but, I think I understand. And we all know it's the greatest country in the world. But it's the other take that I have is this. When things when we discuss and debate fiercely and things get out of control and we push each other to our limits and we push ourselves to these points where we are discussing freedom of speech. We are having to purchase companies for billions of dollars to reclaim and bring back freedom of speech, talking about Twitter. We have these moments where, we have companies come out publicly and say that, hey, we did censor people. And so we have some moments where, okay, this stuff is coming to light after all of this craziness, and let's just call it fascism, because a political party, the Democratic Party, Biden, used the FBI to censor people on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and they came out and they admitted to it. I think we have these crazy moments that we do some stupid shit, okay? We do some dumb ass shit, like censoring each other that we just saw and we saw companies agree to. However, we tend to get past those moments. It's not like I don't think it's boiling up to a point where, it's going to hit the fan and we're going to have a civil war. I think we're going to get to moments where we are going to break through some of these weird kind of things that we're getting, ourselves into. And in the end, like almost every fight that I've ever gotten into in my life, you become better friends with those people. Or at the very least, you understand each other more, and we find out that, hey, holy cow, we actually have way more in common with the other side than we thought. And it's kind of like a moment of enlightenment, and then we continue to have bigger and bigger moments of enlightenment. And I don't know, I think that will bring us closer together in the end. That's at least my glass is half full sort of thing. I don't know. Call it what you want. But let's listen to Tucker some more. You guys agree? We got, Crazy Ange. Ange says yes. Dominique says yes. I am always, let's see, Medi, you're telling the truth. Thank you, bro. Thank Benjamin. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Just looking through these. Dominic says, Medi, the best thing to do is make insane asylums great. Let me put the chat to live. Sorry, guys. Here's the chat is back to live. Dominic, I see you. Everybody, I see you guys in the chat. Yep, I see it. State Line, you agree? Yeah, I kind of feel like people talk about civil war because it's a big thing to talk about, and kind of I don't want to say it's clickbaity, but it's something that gets it kind of pulls on people's heartstrings and gets people kind of reeled in on topics and on discussions. But I don't think it's that. I don't think that's what it is.
And that's why ours is coming apart, because people don't have enough in common. So what would happen if it came apart?
As my brother? Oh, shoot, that's cool, man. Right on. Hopefully he's good looking, man. Hopefully he's handsome.
What would happen if there were a civil war? Well, the first thing to know is it would be incredibly violent, because wars are by nature violent, and civil wars especially so. Violent and crazy. And you do hear from time to time people on both sides.
They are violent and crazy, and I agree with him. They're among the worst wars, and that's why I remind people that we actually fought each other in a civil war to get rid of slavery. When people say we're the worst country in the world, we're the ones that did slavery, and I can't believe what you guys did. You guys are, or we are American. Oh my God, we're the worst thing ever. And it's like, dude, you know this thing that you're criticizing us about is the thing that we actually fought a war with ourselves over to abolish. And guess who did not want us to abolish slavery? Take a wild guess. Democrats. Look it up. It's true. And I'm not trying to point fingers, but it's just true. You can say it's not the same Democratic Party, but it is what it is. Okay, take it for what it is.
Particularly on the left, but not only on the left, say, well, I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I'm ready.
By the way, those of you tuning in saying I'm crazy, look it up. It's an easy search. You can look it all up.
I'm ready for the fight. People who say that have never seen what that looks like. Anyone who has seen what that looks like approaches the entire topic with care and respect, because it's incredibly ugly and its effects are generational. And if you don't believe it, consider our own Civil War, which ended 160 years ago in 1865, and we're still fighting it.
Guys, real quick, thank you for subscribing. Just hit 4,400 subscribers, and we're moving. Thank you. Really love you guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll keep this going. Hell yeah. Thank you.
We're still...
Dominic, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Hell yeah. Same BS statement. No fascist morons. Neo, okay. No FOS says same BS statement. I don't know who you're talking to, but if it's me, please explain. But thank you guys for subscribing. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Arguing over the names of Confederate generals, tearing down their statues, renaming military bases, stereotyping people in the South. That war is still ongoing on some level. It's not a hot war, but it's very much a cold war and has been for 160 years. Go to Spain. Their civil war ended in, 1939. They're still arguing about it. They're still passing legislation about it. The wounds left by civil wars do not heal quickly. They last for, hundreds of years, and they completely remake the country, usually for the worse. So disunity is easy. Rebuilding into a single country after a civil war is very, very hard, and sometimes it never even works. There are civil wars in effect ongoing on this planet right now for hundreds of years, and they probably will never be resolved because the people fighting each other within national borders don't have anything in common. That's the truth. So if you want to prevent a civil war, figure out what everybody, or at least the bulk of the people in your nation, have in common and emphasize that. And so what would that be in our case? Hard.
Ange says there's a beta's joining. Don't be a beta. Come on, guys.
Beta male.
Come on now. No FOS.
Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
In fact, at this stage, really the only realistic hope for national unity is spiritual revival. Is a place where most Americans wake up to realize that God exists and created every single person in the United States of America. And that's what we have in common, our humanity. Not because our common humanity is meaningful by itself, but because our common humanity comes from God and we're created in his image. And only when people truly realize that will they hesitate before killing each other. But in the meantime, and we hope that comes soon.
Totally agree, Benjamin. And that's what I say. I honestly think, I honestly tell people, don't put your kids in college unless they want to be a doctor or something that requires it. Because these days, the only thing they learn how to do is color the hair blue.
But in the meantime, there is a step that the government at all levels, federal, state, and local, can take to restore at least a sense of calm in the midst of rising chaos. And if you can't smell that right now, then you obviously have long COVID, because it is redolent. This country is on the brink. And in fact, you saw the normal dummies today on social media taking pictures from Portland, Oregon. Everything is fine here in Portland. They're liars. Or they're intentionally blind to the reality right in front of them, which is the country is degrading, and you can tell by its cities. They are falling apart. There's no country in the world with as many ugly, dangerous, dysfunctional, dirty cities as we have. It's painful to say that as someone who was born and has always lived here and plans to always live here. But that's a fact. And as someone who travels a lot, I can affirm what you already know. Our cities are dying. And when your cities die, your country dies. And a lot of people don't want to believe this because they move to rural areas and are hoping to just sort of ignore it. I'd be in that category. But it's nevertheless true. When your cities die, your country dies. And our cities are dying the kind of death that can't be permanent. They're dying the death born of chaos, where things just get so crazy and people literally die on the street. Also have sex and defecate on the street, but die on the street. And that's intolerable. Chaos is intolerable. People can't handle it.
I think his message was a little overly dramatic. But I don't know. Dying, I don't know about dying. Our cities, I mean, he's saying we're not talking about actual death, but the cities are dying. But I don't know. Let's see what he says. And Benjamin, loved to hear that, bro. That's awesome, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Business, start business. And hey, start a business and fail at a business early on. That's how you learn.
Out of chaos comes what? Democracy? Spontaneous order? No. Imposed order. Dictatorship. Of course, each and every time. That's what happens out of chaos. People beg for a strong man. There's always someone willing to oblige, and that's exactly what they get. And that's exactly what we're going to get unless some kind of order is restored, which is another way of saying restoring order is not a step toward totalitarianism. It may be the only way to prevent it, but we need to do it now. Walk through any American city and be honest with yourself. Is this working? It's clearly getting worse. What will it look like in 10 years?
Well, LA is a mess. Not all of LA, but a lot of LA is a mess. Jen says, just sent you a Chase Hughes video regarding avoiding civil war, not buying onto not buying into what the deep state is trying to get us to believe. We have much more in common if we just talk to one another. 100% agree, Jen.
The differences between states are getting more profound. You wouldn't expect that, actually. After the advent of radio and then television, the internet, mass media.
Eddie Hanna says, I'm thinking about buying a business overseas, mostly for tax purposes. Any thoughts? I would do a business in U.S., bro. In U.S. I would start a U.S.-based business, and believe me when I tell you, well, I mean, you can believe, I mean, my thought on it, my 2 cents is there's nothing greater than that thing on your product or your service that says made in USA. That's the best, bro.
The idea was, well, regional differences are going away because all of us are united by the media we consume. And that's no longer true. And in fact, our media are exacerbating the differences or highlighting them anyway. And so a place like South Florida is more different from South California than it's ever been. And extrapolate forward 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. Will it be possible to drive from South Florida to Southern California? Well, of course it will. It's America. Really? Is it possible to drive from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Rio? Not really, because it's too dangerous, because it's too chaotic. And Brazil, by the way, is not a third world country. Brazil is a real country about the size of the United States with a highly educated, impressive population, amazing natural resources, a lot going for it.
He has a point. He's saying South Florida is different than South California. There's a lot we can talk about on that, but it's actually interesting how Southern California are cities that are closest to the ocean, are the bluest, with the exception of Orange County. But outside of Orange County, they are the bluest of the cities, whereas in Florida, they're red. And then Benjamin says, yeah, make some products in USA. He'll sell them in his stores.
And yet that country, through successive governments, has been unable to restore order to its highways. So that's the rule globally. That's the state of nature globally. And that could very easily happen here. And we've been moving in that direction for decades. We sit, those of us.
SFL says Tucker is full of bullshit. SFL, feel free to explain to us on what points you think he is not making any sense or what is not true. Happy to discuss.
On the East Coast and look over at the West Coast, my home state of California, and watch its politicians declare boycotts against this or that American state. Or say in public, I'm not going to follow this federal.
Good night, Dominic. Good to have you. Thank you. Thanks for joining, man. See you soon.
Law. The federal government has no dominion here.
We
all sort of laugh. Oh, they're so crazy.
Did you say you're a girl? I'm sorry.
Each one of those actions is a form of insurrection. In fact, every bit as profound as anything that happened in Fort Sumter in 1861, the battle that kicked off the Civil War, the deadliest war in American history, the one from which we're still recovering. Those are acts of insurrection. Either you have a federal government with power over the states, or you don't. Either federal laws apply to all 50 states, or they don't. And for decades, some states have opted out of federal law, and the rest of the states have just sort of laughed at them or tried to ignore it.
Dominic, love to hear that. Love to hear that. Great to have you. Hell yeah. Have a good night. Get some rest, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Oh, marijuana is illegal? We're going to have marijuana anyway. Oregon decriminalized fentanyl and meth 5 years ago. If ever there was a time to send federal troops into Oregon, it was when Oregon did that, thereby killing thousands and thousands and thousands of its citizens and also ignoring federal law. Those are illegal narcotics. We blow up boats full of those things.
I did not know that. I did not know.
But the state of Oregon decided unilaterally, well, we're just going to effectively legalize them. And lots of states have done that. And the feds have done nothing. But now, because the issue is immigration, which is a core issue, the federal government is doing something.
Rewind.
Oregon decriminalized fentanyl and meth 5 years ago. If ever there was a time to send federal troops into Oregon, it was when Oregon did that, thereby killing thousands and thousands and thousands of its citizens and also ignoring federal law.
Wow.
Those are illegal narcotics. We blow up boats full of those things.
Wow.
But the state of Oregon decided unilaterally, well, we're just going to effectively legalize them. And lots of states have done that, and the feds have done nothing. But now, because the issue is immigration, which is a core issue, the federal government is doing something. President Trump has announced that he is sending federal troops to the state of Oregon and to the city of Chicago. He's not yet sent federal troops to Oregon. There's a court fight that's way too complex and not that interesting to explain at the moment. Look it up. That has prevented that. But National Guardsmen have arrived, mostly from Texas, in the state of Illinois, in Chicago, to force, the president says, that city to allow ICE, the Immigration Service, federal immigration officers, to do their job, to deport people who are breaking federal law, illegal aliens. And the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois have said multiple times, we do not follow federal immigration law in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. So the president is forcing this issue. They're in violation of the law. He says he's working to uphold the law. Here is the response of J.B. Pritzker, who is the longtime, 6 years now, I think, governor of Chicago, to the president's deployment of National Guards troops to Illinois. Watch.
What I know is in the early days of the Nazi regime, they started slowly but surely taking away people's rights. And what we're seeing now is the very same thing. They've gone into cities now with the military. Think about that. In your lifetime, have you ever seen anything like that, where the President of the United States is sending military or troops dressed as military, ICE and CBP, in camouflage with automatic weapons into our major cities? It's wrong.
He's such a buffoon. So demented is the Democratic Party. That guy thinks he's going to be president. Have you ever seen this before?
I agree, guys. Tucker Carlson is phenomenal, and Miss Medication and I had the privilege of seeing him live. And yeah, we went to one of his events out here in Orange County, and turns out he's actually from here in Orange County in Southern California.
In American.
And I have to say here, I was just reading your chat. He says, compare Carlson to anyone from CNN or MSNBC or that absolute moron Don Lemon. He's in a league above any of them. The purview of the National Guard is to defend government buildings. They are not enforcing laws or arresting citizens. They're just relieving the state and local police. They are just relieving the state and local police to do their job, Cooper says. Or Cooper says. State line, he seems to have taken up their interest, but I can understand why, in my opinion, if he pushed the additional views as well, he'd be the way he used to be. Buzzwords of the buzzwords of the Democrats. Yeah. Holy cow. Okay, here we go.
In history, has there ever been a single instance of some Nazi in the White House sending troops in?
Don't apologize, Ange. Just put me in your ear and let my beautiful, soft voice put you to bed. Just don't be alarmed when once in a while you hear Jesse Lee Peterson say,
Beta male. Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
So you gay? That's amazing.
Into a state? To uphold federal, it's never happened before. Except it's happened like a million times. And it's been celebrated almost every single time. Beginning at least in September of 1957, 3 years after the Brown versus Board of Education decision came down from the Supreme Court, banning segregation in public schools in the United States. And in the state of Arkansas, in the capital city, Little Rock, Central High School, a high school, was not following this Supreme Court decision. And so Dwight David Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, commander of American troops in Europe during World War II, the president of the United States, sent the 101st Airborne to Central High School.
Damn.
The 101st Airborne, not like 300 fat guardsmen from San Antonio, but the 101st Airborne.
I didn't know that. Did you guys know this?
With M1s. to a
With
high
them
school.
ones. Hold on. Let me
And
go
then
back.
he
What
left his
the heck?
segregation in public schools in the United States. And in the state of Arkansas, in the capital city, Little Rock, Central High School, a high school, was not following this Supreme Court decision. And so Dwight David Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, commander of American troops in Europe during World War II, the president of the United States, sent
What were they not following?
And it's been celebrated almost every single time, beginning at least in September of 1957, 3 years after the Brown versus Board of Education decision came down from the Supreme Court, banning segregation in public schools in the United States.
Oh.
And in the state of Arkansas, in the capital city, Little Rock, Central High School, a high school, was not following this Supreme Court decision.
They were not following the Supreme Court decision banning segregation.
And so Dwight David Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, commander of American troops in Europe during World War II, the president of the United States, sent the 101st Airborne to Central High School. The 101st Airborne, not like 300 fat guardsmen from San Antonio, but the 101st Airborne with M1s to a high school.
Dang.
And then he left his vacation and he went on television to explain why he did it. And Marco, thanks to the internet, we have the tape. Here's part of it.
In that city, under the leadership of demagogic extremists, disorderly minds have deliberately. Local authorities have not eliminated that violent opposition. And under the law, I yesterday issued a proclamation calling upon the mob to disperse.
Yep, that was General, then President Eisenhower.
Dang, bro. Eisenhower is a G. Holy cow. And to think, I grew up playing in a park called Eisenhower Park, named after, you guessed it, Mr. Eisenhower. Holy cow. Eisenhower Park is in the city of Orange in Orange County.
September 1957, sending the 101st Airborne to Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, because the racist governor, Orville Faubus, wouldn't let black students attend a white high school. And every liberal in America applauded. Shoot them! There was one girl in the crowd that day who smirked or scowled.
Oh my God. So the same thing happened back then. Wow. And the liberals were against them at the time. Holy cow. Wow.
At one of the young black ladies being escorted into the school, and she shouldn't have done that. It was cruel, obviously. But it wrecked her life. That picture, which ran the Arkansas Democrat in September of 1957, wrecked her life. Actually, she never got out from under that.
You better show it
and
to
that's
us.
a measure of how strongly the media, the American establishment, and some of the public were behind the president. Look, it's a Supreme Court order. It's the law of the land. You can't disobey it, or else we have mob rules. Someone's going to rule, okay? It'll either be a dispassionate law that treats everybody equally, or it will be an individual who plays favorites. So your choice really is not between no law and law.
Wow.
That's not a choice. Your choice is between the rule of law or anarchy, which leads to dictatorship. That's your choice. And Eisenhower, in an interesting speech, 13-minute long speech, laid this all out, which is on YouTube. You should check it out. He explained why he did it. Because it wasn't about simply desegregating a high school in Little Rock. It was about upholding the basis of the American judicial system, which is to say the basis of America itself, which is equal application of the law, fairness under the law. It's a nation of laws, not men. And he did that, and it was roundly applauded, and it worked in some ways. Public education was totally destroyed nationally, but whatever. The rule of law was upheld.
W. Brent, bro. Dwight was the supreme allied commander with authority. We as Americans were very lucky to have him.
Years later, noting what a popular move this was, apparently his successor, John F. Kennedy, faced a pretty similar situation at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. It was again September 1962. And there was a lone black student attempting to enroll. His name was James Meredith. He's still alive. He's 92 years old. He's a total right-winger, by the way, which is interesting. But
Aquarium says, why are we listening to this Qatari? Because, I am of the belief that I don't have to agree with every single thing everyone does, but I can learn some stuff. That's why.
He was trying to enroll, and the school would
Or
not
is he
accept
joking? Was he... No, he's serious, right? Yeah.
his application because he was black. And so President Kennedy also sent the military to Ole Miss. How many did he send? President Trump has sent 300 to 500 guardsmen to Chicago, to a city of millions. President Kennedy sent 31,000 U.S. soldiers, U.S. Army soldiers, to a campus of 6,000. Yeah.
What?
That's more than 5 armed soldiers per student. 31,000 American troops descended on the campus of Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi at the very end of September, early October 1962, and they shut it down. And they camped on the quad in tents, and they put tanks on the football field, and they put machine gun emplacements on the quad. A couple people were shot to death.
What?
And President Kennedy made, now, a bit overkill, in fact, disgusting overkill, in fact, fascist overkill. But the point is he was applauded for it because there was a federal law emanating from a Supreme Court decision, and he was upholding it in the same way that President Trump is currently attempting to, in a much less vigorous way, uphold federal immigration law passed by the United States Congress, which is core to the country. Who lives here is the main question in any country. Who lives there? What is a country? It's the people who live there. And immigration law is the way that you regulate that. So if you don't control that, you're literally not a country. So that's not an optional law. That is a core law. And in the case of Chicago and Portland, but particularly Chicago, shameful. Thousands of people are shot in Chicago every year. Whole parts of Chicago you can't go to. Not if you're like me, you can't. It's so racist and violent, you literally can't walk through parts of a city that you pay for as a federal taxpayer. As an American, you can't walk through it. Several years ago, you'll remember there was a huge debate in Europe. Are there no-go zones in Paris? Are there parts where, native-born Parisians can't go? Where they're not welcome? Oh, that's not true. They said that's not true. But of course, whether or not, of course, it was true. But what's even more true is that that's the state of play in the United States and has been for generations. Huge parts of a city, huge. You could walk all day through parts of a city that you actually can't walk through because they're too dangerous for you. And Chicago is particularly disgraceful in its decline. And you don't have to guess about that. I'm going to show you a video in just a second, but you don't have to guess. Look at the number. Look at the outflow from Chicago. Are people who are born in Chicago staying in Chicago? No, they're fleeing. Go to Southwest Florida. Go to dinner in Naples some night and ask, anyone here from Illinois? It's half the room. And they're grateful to be gone. That's how dystopian it is on every level, economically primarily. But even on a more basic level, it's just too dangerous. Oh, the freedoms we're losing. Really? What about my freedom to walk to the liquor store at midnight without getting killed?
Literally. Sanaz says, can we do a live about Candace and him one day and someone breaks it down? 100%. I'm down.
How about my freedom to stop at a red light without getting shot? That's totally real. It's not fake. It's not racist to say that. The mayor of Chicago is an open racist. So irony of ironies, here you have a president sending troops facing down a recalcitrant, racist local official. That does sound like 1962, doesn't it? Except this time, the president in question is not getting accolades from the New York Times. He's being called a dictator! A dictator! But just to set the table here, to lay down the framework for what we're talking about.
Got some chats going on here. Donaldson says, do your own research and don't listen to the propaganda. If you don't know actual history, because I study history, Tucker will fool you with the misinformation. Again, I'll say it again. We love Tucker for some things, and we question Tucker about other things. But all in all, with everybody, not just Tucker, I always love to listen and make my own decisions and take the pieces that I can from these, from whatever they're telling us, these discussions, and from you guys, and hopefully you guys can from me.
Chicago, the city. What does Chicago look like? This question is very much like everything else you talk about. Trans surgeries, abortion, whatever the topic is, the people promoting it never want you to see what it actually looks like. Just an idea. It's a right. It's a theoretical concept. No one wants to see what it looks like to
W. Joshua Perciano.
cut someone's penis off and create a vagina with a knife. That's what it actually is. Our rights in Chicago, what does Chicago actually look like? Well, here's what it looks like.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. W. Joshua, bro, for sure, man. For sure.
So
it's always worth listening either which way, and we'll be better for it. That's why I listen to everybody, bro. I'll listen to anybody and everybody. I don't care.
What's interesting about those videos is who's participating in the rioting and the violence there. There's the normal assortment of unhappy white young people make up the bulk of
what's up, Willistics?
Antifa make up the bulk of the Democratic Party's activist wing, all the little DSA kids, you know, the children of orthodontists from Great Neck who are, you know, reliving the glories of the 60s or whatever, the weird little polyamorous nihilist freaks.
It's funny, I was actually going to mention Nick Fuentes. I have listened to Nick Fuentes, and I have played some of his clips because I want to understand and learn.
Who don't see any future for themselves economically, so just burn it down. I mean, very, very familiar to anyone who's watched this stuff over the years. A repulsive group, a dangerous group, a sad group, by the way. You shouldn't have a lot of young people like that in a functioning country. They should be looking forward to a brighter future, getting married, having kids, doing something useful, building something, not just destroying.
Building and creating, 100% agree. Guys, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you.
But they're not. So that is recognizable. We've seen a lot of that over the past 10 years, and we're going to see a lot more going forward, unfortunately, unless someone gets a hold of this now. But what was new in that video were what looked like immigrants, Latin American immigrants. And if we're going to be totally honest about Latin American immigration, most of our immigration up until pretty recently, now it seems all South Asian, but up until very recently, most of our immigration, overwhelming majority of our immigration to this country was from Mexico and the Central American countries, some South America, but mostly Mexico, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, the usual, Latin America, close by countries in our hemisphere, people taking trains and walking to get here. And the truth is, all illegal immigration is bad. Rapid mass migration is always bad because it makes countries crazy and chaotic. But it's also true that our Latin American immigrants are, I mean, probably met 1 million of them, good people, super hard workers. And it's true that they're doing jobs that, you know, you probably did as a kid. And your kids probably aren't doing those jobs because Latin Americans are doing them. I'm saying this if you're white. So I think most people who are very opposed to illegal immigration and very opposed to mass migration, at this point very opposed to any immigration, which would include me definitely, are not mad at Latin American immigrants because they're mostly nice people, they're Christian people, and they work hard. And there's some drunk driving, but in general, they kind of play by the rules, most of them.
Agreed, Charlie B. He says, willingness to listen to the right puts a big fat target on your back by the left, brother. Yes, I agree with you, Charlie B, on that. It does. But over time, that target's gotten. I mean, before it was rough. You would get your accounts canceled. You would get your all your posts and everything suppressed and removed, and again, your accounts deleted. But nowadays, we're able to speak a little more freely, so that's okay, man. And you know what? It's worth it to get the word out and to listen and to learn. And I think we need to understand each other more and realize we have more in common than we think, guys. We really do, both sides.
The idea that people would get here as immigrants and immediately join a violent street protest, we haven't seen that since about 1905. We haven't. That's shocking. That's scary if that's true. And it's scary for the following reason: the volume, the scale. How many immigrants did we get during the Biden years? Well, no one knows, of course. People pretend they know, but they don't know. Millions and millions and millions and millions. And they're entering a job market that is being destroyed by technology, by AI, quantum computing. So there was no labor market need for these immigrants. It's not like America was just dying for more people to do jobs because we have fewer jobs. And if you don't believe it, if you got college-age kids, ask them if any of their friends are employed in October after graduating. No, they're not, because there are no jobs. So unemployment is going up. Everyone lies about it, but it is. And we just imported, I don't know, maybe 10 million new people. What are they doing here? What was the purpose of that? How are they living? Well, they're living, of course, on the government. But why? Why did they get here? Why did Biden bring them in? That's a question that no one's answered. And all of a sudden you look at these videos and you see people who are clearly just off the boat or the train, and you start to wonder, like, maybe we were actually invaded. Maybe our ruling class imported an army and pretended that they were migrants looking for a better life. And maybe we're about to find out what that means. This is really scary because we don't know who lives in this country. We don't know the total population of the country. And again, like the inflation rate, like the unemployment rate, is something that our leaders lie about constantly. But they don't know. They don't know. They don't know how many people live here, and they don't know who they are. Of course, they have biometrics they could find out, but they haven't. Why is that? So if all of a sudden these migrants are participating in street protests where they're throwing bricks through the windows of passing cars, picking up orange cones and throwing them at minivans, you could see this getting completely out of control. And it's a reminder of something that is very often true, which is civil wars become race wars. That is the truth. It's true globally. It was true in Latin America. Lots of the wars in Latin America were really between the Europeans and the indigenous, between the Indians and the Spanish descendants. That's true. It was true in El Salvador. It was true across Latin America. That could happen here. Somebody needs to get this under control before it does, because chaos breeds chaos. It metastasizes. That's true in your home, and it's true in your nation. So getting this stuff under control now before it becomes uncontrollable, before it becomes impossible to drive to San Diego from Miami, is absolutely essential.
Agree, NXVX. Yep.
And the second thing that would be nice along the way is to stop the degradation of the United States, the true degradation. Now, Portland, Oregon is one of the prettiest cities in the world, by the way. Now it's a byword for sadness and death, drug use, and the homeless. But for a very long time, Portland was considered one of the prettiest places ever, a kind of northern San Francisco. Really a really pretty place, charming place, nice people. And in the past 20 years, it's become, thanks again to the influence of a very specific class, professional class, decadent whites, it has become a hellscape.
Janet in the chat, Janelle, sorry, in the chat says, this is such a false narrative. No wonder this country is falling apart. I do protest with my children. They are simply not violent. We hold a sign on the sidewalks as cars drive by. I think, Janelle, that is partly subjective and partly depends on where and when you're protesting. I think that's debatable, I would say.
It's true. Under the influence of secular whites NPR listening liberals who do not get the credit they deserve for their sinister behavior, their death worship, it has become the kind of place where no normal person would want to go. And it's sad because it is fundamentally so great. Here's a montage of what Portland looks like.
I am smack dab in the middle of a Portland green space. Everywhere you look, trash, paraphernalia, rotting food, and even dead animals. This is the reality of the streets. This is a symptomatic homeless teenager on the streets on meth. For what? $800 clear? No, I don't have clear. This is a symptomatic homeless man who's been talking to himself for about 2 hours downtown Portland. Homeless one behind me has been flashing people the last half hour. Behind me is a senior citizen smoking meth. He's about 72 years old. Homeless man behind me without a shirt just tried to break that window. So nobody is dying in this exact moment, but this right here is the deadliest block in Portland and where I've seen about 20 people die in the last year. Behind me is a homeless woman injecting heroin into her foot. Knotted out in front of a business. Impossible to get in the front door. There's a good 15 people on this block. About 12 are actively smoking fentanyl. 2 people live indoors but come here for the fentanyl. 1 person didn't appear to be using, just kind of hanging out. But overall, good 95% are actively using drugs on this block in Portland.
All native-born whites, of course. A 72-year-old smoking meth. A 72-year-old smoking meth on the street. Who would tolerate that? A cruel person, a truly cruel and evil person would tolerate that. That's not freedom. That's bondage. That's murder.
Dude, I live in
normal.
I live in Southern California. That didn't look very different from LA, to be honest.
Whole country would tolerate that for one moment, and in real countries they don't tolerate that. In a downtown, they don't do that. Only in the West do they do that. If we keep this up, we will get Mussolini at least, because it's so unnatural. It is so contrary to the laws of nature. It is so prima facie repulsive and mean to allow this that it cannot continue. And the fact that it has been allowed to continue tells you everything about the people in charge. They're the worst. And what about the citizens? It's not just the leaders. It's the people who live there. A normal person would say, absolutely not. I live as my city. I work here. My kids go to school here. I was born here. You may not do that. We're not going to allow 72-year-olds to smoke meth on the street. What is wrong with you? They wouldn't cede the moral high ground to some creep from another city. All the leaders of these cities are not from those cities. They just show up because they feel a power vacuum. They graduate from Wesleyan or Bowdoin after, running for student body president, just like Mamdani. And they're like, oh, chaos. I think there's opportunity for me.
Yeah, if most of you don't know or unaware, I don't know if it's most, but lots of politicians are not from the regions that they represent. Lots and lots of them.
That's exactly the profile.
And of course, they don't have to live in the conditions of the people that are affected the most from basically what he's talking about.
All the little NGO workers who are passing out crack pipes and needles and tents to the homeless, all of which exacerbates the problems and kills people. None of those people are from any of these cities either. They're all from away. They're all poverty pimps who've shown up to take advantage of human suffering. They're the lowest.
Charlie B says, Jasmine Crockett, are you talking about what I'm thinking? Because she's not from the region that she represents. I think that's what you're talking about, and that is true. I know that for a fact. Jasmine Crockett is not from the area that she represents.
Posing as the most decent. They're not Clara Barton. They're like Caligula.
Yeah, I thought so.
They're cruel, heartless people who would allow this. And the cruelest and most heartless of all are the generation whose children are on the street smoking meth. They're called the boomers. The boomers. They're not all bad. Not every boomer is terrible. But if you had to identify one generation responsible for the decline and possible destruction of the United States of America, it would be that one. Their fathers returned from liberating Europe and Asia, and they bequeath us this.
This land is my land.
I just cut that because I don't need to get hit with copyright on that. Yeah. He's right. He's right. And I have something to say.
I can't even play the mandolin. Mediocre in addition to everything else, a little Ukraine flag.
He has a point, and I think what he's talking about, he just said their fathers. So he's talking about boomers, and he said their fathers are the ones that created this wonderful world for them, or went through hell to get the world into the right place for them, right? And make it what it was. And it goes back to that saying, right? Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men, right? And it goes through the cycle over and over.
Cliche after cliche after cliche, not a deep thought, no self-reflection at all, just self-involvement. That's that generation. And if you were there, you would ask them, you wouldn't ask them about ICE or immigrants. You would ask them about the state of their city before the immigrants even got there. Like, why did you allow elderly men to smoke meth on the street? People to die on your sidewalks. They had a dysentery outbreak in Portland, Oregon last year because the sanitation, the so-called homeless camps was so bad. How could you allow that? Did you notice it? You said you were compassionate. You care about the people of Kyiv. Did you notice the people in downtown Portland were dying on the street? You monster. They're monsters. That level of neglect is monstrous. And the key mistake that normal people make is ceding the moral high ground to people like that, who disguise their hate and indifference to their fellow human beings with the language of compassion. It's a lie. And you know it's a lie because look at the city they made. That needs to be cleaned up immediately. People living on the street, shitting on the street, causing dysentery outbreaks, smoking meth on the sidewalk, having sex in ATM vestibules. These are not manifestations of freedom. These are signs of terminal decline. And they are very serious. They're most serious. This is stage 4. You have to fix that. It's not complicated. You cannot allow that. Because if you do, you send a very clear message to your own citizens, which is, I don't care about you. I don't care whether you live or die, or whether you degrade yourself, whether you live like an animal. If you let your German Shepherd live like that, you would be arrested. But in Portland, Oregon, it's totally fine to let your fellow citizen live like that. If there was ever a reason to send federal troops into a city, it's 72-year-olds smoking meth on the sidewalk. We're shutting this down. We won't have this. Because that person smoking meth is a child of God created by God, and you're killing him, and we're not going to allow it. Someone's going to do that. That will happen. And the opportunity we have right now is to do it in a way that is not totalitarian. But if we don't do it now, we're going to get totalitarianism. Trust me. Most coffee companies sell weakness, watered down drinks from
What's up, guys? What's up, Wayne? What's up, Josiah Bailey? Wayne says, you a bunch of weirdos. Tell us why, bro. Why? Why are we weirdos, bro? Talk to me, bro.
It's about Antifa, and I think he's joining us now. Nick Short, are you there?
I'm here, Tucker. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thanks so much for doing this. So you just came from Portland. How would you assess it? What's it like?
It doesn't feel like America, Tucker, at this point. It feels like, and I know it's a cliche, but it feels like a third world country. I mean, you have police that have been totally infiltrated by a leftist militant group. And, you know, right now you can see police cars behind me. These police cars would protect me if some.
What's up, Kev Dog? Wayne says you don't live there. Why do you care?
Somebody were to come up and assault me. That's not how it works in Portland. The Portland police arrested me instead when I got assaulted. It's a different world out there. and not even just around the ICE facility. Like your monologue was spot on here, Tucker. But you go downtown and it looks like it's post-apocalyptic almost. The graffiti everywhere, the vandalism, the boarded up windows. There are no people in downtown Portland. It's quiet as hell. There's nobody walking around. People don't go there for leisure anymore or for vacation. It's because they're afraid, and they should be afraid. The chance of you getting beat up or stuck with a needle or robbed in the street is through the roof because police there aren't actually allowed to be police.
So what happened to you, if you don't mind explaining? You were arrested for being assaulted? Is that a crime? Is it a crime in Portland to be assaulted?
NXVX, this is not all we watch. We watch all kinds of stuff. Feel free to subscribe and join us and see all of what we watch. And who else was commenting here? Who was okay, let's keep going.
It's a crime in Portland to be a conservative, Tucker. I mean, as weird as that sounds, the video evidence and even the DA has come out and said because the DA refused to go through with the case, so they ended up dismissing all of the charges. The video very clearly shows me telling the person to back away as I'm walking down the sidewalk. And then the Antifa thugs, this stuff is coordinated, right? They come up with an umbrella to try to block other cameras. And as soon as when they do that, they're gonna commit some sort of act of violence. And that's exactly what they did this time. One of their thugs decided to swing on me and hit me in the face before breaking my camera and then throwing me in a hole. Was that person arrested? Absolutely not. Was I? We know the story now.
What do they charge you with?
Well, they charged me with disorderly conduct too, which is really weird considering the amount of screaming and vandalism and assaults on officers and explosions of fireworks and such that happen in the middle of the night in the streets out there. They break into cars. If you're not a member of Antifa and you try to drive down that street, they're going to hit your car. They're going to break your windows. There's plenty of videos of that happening, and none of that is apparently disorderly. They call what I did disorderly because it's what I'm doing is a threat to the order in their city, which is basically leftist authoritarianism.
So you got your face in the way of an Antifa fist, and so you're the criminal. Did the cop apologize as he was arresting you? Like what? I mean, it's hard even to imagine the scene you're describing.
Yeah, and so I actually went to this group of police. There are about 12 of them. They're way down the road. They don't do anything ever. Obviously, that situation changed a little bit as time went on. But I went over there to seek refuge with them. To hopefully, like, I wasn't even reporting anybody. I was just standing back, hoping that the situation would ease up a little bit. And I'm standing there joking with a bunch of them for 7 to 8 minutes or so. And then a sergeant rolls up on a bike.
Edwin says Antifa doesn't exist. I don't know. Is he joking or is he serious?
And says, cuff him. And
I don't know if he's just messing with us or maybe he's just trolling.
That's exactly. And they're like, that guy? This guy right here? Cuff him? And he's like, yeah, cuff him. He's under arrest. And they had no idea why. They couldn't explain to me for over 45 minutes, Tucker, what my charges actually were. They started driving to the jail very slowly, hoping that somebody would fill them in on why I was actually being arrested. And so they had to pull over on the side of the road near the jail and just sort of twiddle their thumbs, waiting on a call from a lieutenant. And as soon as they got that call from the lieutenant, that lieutenant instructed the officer to get out of the vehicle, presumably so I couldn't hear what they were talking about on the phone. Something stinks over there. I mean, there were 3 people all night long in Portland that came through that jail. It's the only jail in Portland, and 3 people, including myself, ended up coming through there that night. It's wild.
For those of you saying Antifa doesn't exist, explain this to me right here. This thing right here. Right here.
Antifa. They tend to show up at rallies with the alt-right and conservatives. He's an Antifa member and an executive director of One People's Project, an anti-racist nonprofit that monitors hate mongers and fight fascism. Darrell, good morning, sir. Thank you for being with me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
I appreciate it. How did you become a member, and why did you become a member of Antifa?
Well, I think it's just been a case of me doing this even before we even knew the term. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's just been a case of wanting to know more about the people that hate us, and then that turned into wanting to do something about the people that hate us before they cause the kinds of divisions that they have caused in generations past. That's always been my mission.
And when you say the people that hate us, who are you referring to when you say us?
I think us as a society, not just necessarily, I mean, you might be alluding to people of color, Black people. Yes, that's there. But the truth of the matter is we do have a number of people, particularly on the right, that have gone after us as a society because we are trying to evolve. We're trying to move beyond the things that we have done in the past, the things that we've been about in the past. Whether you're talking about the attacks of people of color, the attacks on women, the attacks on the LGBTQ communities, or just workers in general. I mean, I think
this guy literally he claims to be Antifa and claims to be running Antifa websites or their website, and puts people on Antifa lists and all kinds of stuff. And we can go through this. You guys claiming there's no such thing as Antifa. I think there is a lot. I don't think that's subjective anymore. I think it's very clear that there is Antifa, and that's a very weird argument to make.
To the point where you have to say, look, we are contributing to the society as well. We're contributing to this country as well. And people who have a chip on their shoulder.
So anyway, we're going to go back. We also have Mr. Kennedy at some point that we're going to listen to. But we got, for those of you saying there's no such thing as Antifa, you got to explain these guys that come on and say, I am Antifa. I have one guy runs a website and all this kind of other stuff and openly talks about all of it, how it started, all this stuff. So anyway.
There were riots underway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that same night, my car was vandalized. There were fires in the street. They do that every single night. And nobody is ever arrested for that.
It's so far from the America that you imagine when you think of America. I mean, this is kind of my point. So, for example, like a place, Palm Beach or Miami or Jacksonville, even Tampa, big cities in Florida, that's the opposite of what would happen. And so you wonder, like, how can Portland, Oregon share a flag with Miami, Florida?
Yeah, it's a great question, and as you very well said, this stuff doesn't happen in Florida. It never does. People aren't going to block the roads in Florida,
right?
Because what happens? You're going to get run over. Because these people will take residents that live right near the ICE facility and box their cars in with people. They'll surround them and terrorize them. But there's nothing that the driver can do about it. If they defend themselves, they go to jail. If they try to drive through the crowd to save their family from these thugs, these violent, mentally ill thugs, they are the ones that get arrested, not the thugs that held them hostage.
So what does that tell you? It tells you that if the rioters don't get arrested, but anyone who resists the rioters get arrested, that tells you that the rioters are, in effect, working for the state. They're the militia, then. Right? I mean, what else would that tell you? They're on the same side as the state.
Essentially. Yeah, of course. And then people ask me all the time. It's like, okay, well, are these what are these Antifa folks' thoughts on the Portland police? And there's no ill will between the two groups at all because they're practically working together at this point. Yeah, just the other day there was a business owner or a manager of a restaurant that's at the end of the street where the ICE facility is on. There's only one street to get to that business. And he walks up and begging and pleading with the officers there to open the road, not because the police had closed the road, but because the Portland police had relegated traffic control duties to these Antifa militants that were not letting through employees of the restaurant or patrons of the restaurant, only letting through their own people, and Portland police were letting it happen. Portland police ended up, I have it all on video, I posted it all on my X. Portland police walk up to these militants that are controlling traffic and say, "Hey, we need you to open up the road. Would you mind opening the road so that people can get to the spaghetti factory?" And they said no, and so the road just never opened, and police just walked away. I mean, that's how deep this rot runs. Like, who is giving these officers orders to stand down and defer to Antifa?
So you've just changed my mind on this completely. I mean, so I went into this thinking, well, the problem is these groups, Antifa and others, whatever Antifa is, no one's even really ever defined it that I can tell. But these groups of radicals angry about something, committing violence against people. But it sounds like the DOJ needs to come in and take control of the Portland Police Department on civil rights grounds. I know they're very busy policing anti-Semitism on Ivy League campuses. It's kind of a critical problem in America. But
great question, Justin. What's a dutard? And Wayne is still trying to convince us there's no Antifa. Very interesting, bro. Who are all these people claiming to be Antifa then? What about all the people holding signs saying Antifa? They're all Antifa, bro. Who are these people? They just don't exist? Or let me guess, it's all AI.
But if a police department is indistinguishable from Antifa, that might even be a bigger problem. And maybe they should take it over tomorrow. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, and that's something that I should probably, I'd like to talk to Attorney General Pam Bondi about. She's been very responsive to this entire situation. She put Harmeet Dillon on it. They've launched an investigation into the practices of the Portland Police Department.
State Line just sent me a few photos about Antifa.
And Tucker,
is that something I can share, State Line, or no?
We actually put in this demand for discovery after my arrest. And we were demanding all communications between Rose City Antifa.
He says, yes, I can share it. So let me grab these and see if they are. How can I share these? Let me get these somehow set up in a way where I can share these. Here, let's go.
Which is an organized group that is an entity that exists, and the Portland Police Department. And literally within an hour of us doing that, my attorney got an angry call from the DA's office, and then eventually said, "Okay, well, you know what? We're not going to move forward with this case." They were clearly bothered by the fact that we were demanding discovery relating to the discussions between Rose City Antifa and the Portland Police Department. So there's something there. There's something there. If we didn't make that demand, I don't think they would have dropped this case.
That's an incredible story. It's not the story I expected to hear from you at all. That's an amazing story. And it's a horrifying story because where does it...
Yeah, right now, pulling up those images, I'm probably going to, unfortunately, have to share... It's not going to be easy for me. It'll take a minute. But you know what's going to happen, State Line, is they're going to just say it's all made up. And I can already see the chat right now. The guy's like, oh, this is that, this is that. You talk about Fight Boys and all that stuff. So they're going to just say it's all made up stuff.
Leave the citizens of Portland.
It doesn't matter anyway, bro. They literally just will say the opposite. And just because they said it, what they said is true. Just like when they say, oh, well, during recess, I made the decision that I'm now no longer a boy. Now I'm a girl. So now I'm a girl. So you have to call me a woman from now on. It's like, no.
I mean,
so they just make things up like on the fly, and you just have to accept it. Apparently,
police department,
which we won't.
Department is Antifa.
Scared.
Then where do you go?
Yeah, I spoke with a resident. There's an apartment building that is directly, it's adjacent to the ICE facility. And these residents are terrified to speak publicly. I finally got one to speak to me on camera. I haven't released it yet, but he wanted his face blurred because they're terrified of what happens when they walk out of their apartment building when they're complaining about what's going on in the street and the lack of action on the part of police officers and the city of Portland. The city of Portland, there is a noise ordinance in the city of Portland. You know, people have the right to the quiet enjoyment of their home, right?
Someone is trying to make like an argument to make me somehow pin me into something saying that I am Antifa, when I'm saying I'm not down for Antifa. But then they're saying if you're not down for Antifa, then you're fascist. No, you guys, you guys got yourself all twisted up here, and you got all your panties in a bunch or boxers. I don't know. I don't know what your pronouns are, guys. Antifa is a radical group, okay? And they're real, and they call themselves Antifa. They're all over the internet. I can pull up video after, I just pulled one up. I can pull up video after video of people saying they're Antifa. They run the Antifa website. They put, as I said, they put people on these lists and all this stuff. And that is Antifa, the specific word Antifa. Just because you say Antifa doesn't mean you are virtuous and good and you're doing better than everyone else because you are anti-fascist. No, the funny part is most people that claim that they are Antifa are part of the side of politics that does the most fascist things, and I can prove it. They use government to censor their political opponents. And the companies that did this, that got the pressure of the government of the Antifa party, actually came out and admitted to censoring Americans for their political beliefs. That's fascist. Also, there's a lot of other things. We'll go through it, but let's listen.
And the Portland police and the city have selectively decided they're not going to enforce it there, to the detriment of the multiple veterans that live there with PTSD that are hearing the Antifa folks in the street shooting off fireworks in the middle of the night, scaring the crap out of them. They're talking about
who's Ultrafly talking to? Talking to me or someone else in chat?
children in elevators that are crying because it's like a war zone out in front of their house every single day, and the police are just letting it happen.
Misty, are you talking to me? Let me know. Thank you if you are. Ultrafly, you're asking me if I can prove what? Prove that that there was censorship happening? It's very easy. You can all pull it up, but let me pull this up for you so you can see for your own eyes on my own page. So this is my Instagram page right here. Oh, I just hit 70K. Look at that. This is my Instagram page, guys. And if you go to this part right over here, you can see two of the most recent things, and we're still missing the Twitter files. Google, less than a month ago, just admitted that they were censoring YouTubers, and they did it at the hands of the Biden administration. They admitted it. It's all out there. You can go look at it. Zuckerberg said the same thing. You want more proof? Here is more proof. I have it saved because everyone always asks me about it. Here
While
is
they're
more
trying
proof.
to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who is basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, you know, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that
it was
that talk
people.
about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration.
There's your proof. The guy that runs the two biggest social media companies on the planet was forced by the Biden administration to censor people for true things. That's called fascism. Okay? So there you are. Ask for proof. There you have it. You can Google and do whatever kind of research you desire. It's all out there. Google did it. YouTube did it. Instagram did it. Facebook did it. And all of Twitter did it. That's called fascism. That's the real fascism, guys. Do your own research. You'll see the same thing.
For what reason? I don't know. Is it political? Is it because they're totally infiltrated by these leftists? I mean, there's a lot of reasons that it could be, but it's something that we need to find out because this is not a victimless situation here. The victims are the people.
MGL Sniper says, not what happened before. We're talking about 2025. Talk about, yeah. Well, that's what happened is what you guys are doing is you guys were the fascists. You were actually censoring and you guys are totally good with it. How do I know? Because I was you not too long ago. I was on the left and then I switched to the right. And I remember everything on social media while they were censoring it was in our favor while we were on the left. We just sat there and took it. We're like, oh, this is so cool. Look, everything is, and anybody that says anything gets banned. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, look, President Trump just got his account deleted. For what? Saying something that was true. Who else? Jordan Peterson got his account deleted. Why? Because he said something that someone thought was that made someone's feelings hurt, I think. I don't even know why. For what? Because the Biden administration didn't agree with it. It didn't go along with the left agenda. And that's what happened. So you guys were the fascists. I was part of it. I mean, I wasn't a fascist. That's part of the reason why I left when I found out that this was happening and they weren't actually the virtuous left that they say they are. I was like, wow, what the hell is going on? Those are the reasons. Those are actually one of the top 3 reasons why I left, and I'll tell you more. Now, you guys were the fascist, and you are projecting your own ideology onto the right, calling them fascist. That's what's happening. They're not fascist. They're the ones that are allowing for freedom of speech, allowing for freedom of expression, and all you do is pull up your prior fascism and throw it up and regurgitate it onto the right and try to make it, just because you say it, you think it's true. You think people are going to take it as a truth, and it's not.
Of Portland that are just trying to live their lives and go about their daily business without fear of being, beaten in the street for complaining that people want to scream in front of their house at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's how bad it is.
I think a lot of Americans are under the impression that nothing has changed in the last 40 years and the law enforcement and intelligence agencies are fundamentally pro-American and committed to the rule of law. That would include the U.S. military.
Joe Garza, how is Trump administration? Joe Garza says Trump administration is censoring everyone. Tell us how.
CIA, NSA, and police departments and National Guard units. You think.
Joe Garza says the Kimmel was that Kimmel was off the air, right? That Kimmel was not off the air because of Trump or his administration. Think about one thing. If you use your brain, think about one thing for 1 second. How long has Trump been against all of these talk show hosts and the media companies and all the other shows that they had? How long was he against them? And how long did he talk against them and say he wanted to have them canceled or whatever it is? Forever. Why didn't they get canceled before? Because it's not Trump. It's them themselves. Their ratings are the lowest they've ever been. I have graphs and reports to show. They were literally losing money. This year, Jimmy Kimmel was on pace. Jimmy Kimmel and another talk show actually were on pace to lose $25 million. And they'll probably still lose it, even though they're back on the air. He's back on there. He'll still end up losing $25 million. I'm a business owner. I own 3+ businesses, depending how you count businesses. Those, if I had any part of a business losing money, it would be changed radically, not just continue the same thing, expecting different results. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's why he got canceled, and he should. The only reason he's back is because the networks, they're going to listen to you guys losing your minds, and they don't have another way to fulfill his slot. They got to find new ways to make money, bro. They really do. FCC chair, I agree, went a little too far with a tweet. I agree that, but didn't cancel them. Nobody canceled them. Their businesses canceled them, and you know it. How, again, Donald Trump talked against all of these guys forever. Not once did they get canceled. And all of a sudden you think now was the time that Trump did it? Please, bro, save it, bro, save it.
They're sort of on your side. And I think you're hitting at something that most people don't understand, which is a lot of these organizations, these institutions have been completely taken over by people who sympathize with Antifa. And I would include the U.S. military in that. Many members of the U.S. military cheered the assassination of Charlie Kirk, many online. And that seems like a problem that seems like the problem. Because if things go south, the people with the guns have to be loyal to the Constitution. They can't be loyal to Antifa, right?
Right, and I mean you're absolutely spot on there. It's chilling the amount. Those are just the people that we have that have the weirdly enough have the balls to.
OMG, Joe Garza, host is lying. It wasn't ratings. It was pressure from the. No, it wasn't. If it was pressure from the White House, it would have happened a long time ago. Their ratings are low. I have the documents to show it, bro. They're all low. All the ratings are down. And the profits are negative. It's all over the internet. I can show it to you if you want. I have all of it.
Say that stuff publicly, like condoning the assassination of Charlie Kirk and stuff. I mean, it's terrifying to think of how many of these people are in the background working for these police agencies. Actually, we were able to get a Secret Service agent fired, one that works on protective details, fired for saying that Charlie Kirk had it coming. He said that publicly on Facebook. That's somebody that works on a protective detail. That should terrify everybody. Because then it leads back to think, okay, well, did people within the Secret Service just let what happened to?
Great questions all around. Why aren't all the other shows canceled that Trump hates right now? Why aren't they all canceled? Because it's not Trump. If it was fascism, he would have canceled a whole bunch of shows. Didn't do it.
Trump and Butler, did they just let that slide?
You guys got nothing, bro. They got nothing. You got nothing. You're pulling on you. What do they call it?
We know these people exist. We know they're on these protective details. We know that they've infiltrated the military.
Reaching for what's the term? I'm blanking on it.
That's terrifying, and we really need systematic reviews of all of this stuff. And I know down there in Portland, I'm actually here in DC anyway. Here in DC, I will be meeting tomorrow with Harmeet Dillon and the Department of Justice. And they'll be doing
Ultrafly is calling me names and says, you have yet to prove what was censored, just that censorship happened. I had to inform you every platform has censorship. No, they actually came out and said it. You just heard the guy say it. Are you not able to comprehend English? You just heard the guy say it.
Full interview.
You just heard, what's his name, Zuckerberg say it. Did you not understand what this guy just said?
While they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that
it was
that talk about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration.
I mean, is that hard? LMFAO saying, Zuck saying, trust me, bro, ain't evidence. Host Ultrafly. This is the TDS kicking in. There's no evidence anyone can ever show you to satisfy you. So we're going to move on, and I'm going to stop responding to you. Thank you for joining.
From start to finish,
if you really care, do your own research. You'll find the letters that you'll find all the letters that he wrote, all of the times that he spoke about it, everything else that they wrote about. It's all out there. You don't need me to show you. Try doing your own research for a change. You might learn something.
What happened and what their next steps are going to be. I spoke with President Trump about it today personally. They are not going to.
Oh yeah, and don't be a
beta male.
Let this go. They want to expose all of the
beta man. Be a alpha male, not a beta male. That's amazing.
Within this police department out there, because ideally that will that model will be able to spread.
You guys see this? You show them evidence, and they can't even accept it. The TDS is so strong, they can't even accept the basic evidence right in front of their eyes, and they won't even look it up. They won't do nothing. That's like super hardcore TDS, bro. That's what it is. You just can't see straight. You're like just walking blind, bro, and it's blind leading the blind.
Spread to other police agencies across the country. Like what they find in Portland may help them in Chicago, for example. So a can of worms has been opened.
Sanazi says, Jen, I just don't know how they can't see that. Like, it's like having bad breath and everyone smells it, but you're oblivious. I like that.
Opened here. The police chief out there in Oregon or in Portland has been on TV every day slandering me, saying that it is provocative to film in public with a light on your camera, even though it's dark, and so you need a light. I mean, any reasonable human being can figure that part out. But they're terrified. They know that we're not letting this go. And now they got the DOJ on their backs. I'm just hoping that that the political pressure keeps up and people don't just forget about the story.
Yeah, I hope not. I know that Hartmeet Dillon, who I know very well, my former lawyer, is a really serious and smart.
Oh, hold on. Ultrafly is saying, is screaming fire illegal? Is that censorship or is it fascism? No, if you listen closely, Zuckerberg was saying that they were the Biden administration was literally asking to censor information they knew was true. It's not screaming fire or something like that. It was actual information they knew was true. That is information people should know about that may be harmful to them. That may actually be bad news for them. And it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the vaccine. That was one thing he mentioned. There is a whole letter that Zuckerberg wrote about all Zuckerberg letter. Here is a letter Zuckerberg wrote, and he talks about the Biden laptop. That was another thing that was true. There was no yelling fire. It was just a true story. They used their administration to censor Americans so we wouldn't know about the Hunter Biden thing. There was a whole Russia collusion thing. All of those things were true. They were actually true stories, or in some cases, false stories. And anyone that talked against it was censored. Look it up. Look it up. Yeah, look it up. Look it up, bro. Look it up. That's real stuff. Here is the letter. Here is the letter right here. Here is the letter. Signed by who? Yours truly. Zuckerberg. You see Zuckerberg right there? You can look it up. This letter is public. You can see it. You can search it. You can do whatever you want with it. This is the letter. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor. Okay, this is about COVID. He goes on to say, in a separate situation, I'm reading from the page, in a separate situation, the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. That fall, when we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption involving nominee Joe Biden's family, we sent the Post fact checkers and reviewed and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. They literally came out and said this, but you guys won't. You guys don't like proof against your own party. You won't take it. You won't accept it.
Person and a very tough person,
guys. I think I gave him a little too much
confidence
attention already. Right? Is that too much attention? And now they say old news. Now one person is accepting it, but he's saying it's old news. See? You see that? You see that? Now that we read it to them, it's old news.
But I hope
there's no way. There's no way. There's no way for them to actually go, oh, you know what? You're right. That's pretty jacked up. You know what's really jacked up? And you guys know me. I show this all the time. You know what's also fascist? Well, that's not democratic. They didn't let their people vote for their own nominees 3 election cycles in a row.
Beta male. Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
3 election cycles in a row, the Democrats did not let you democratically vote for your nominees. Yeah. Yeah.
That we don't.
And they won't accept that either. Watch this. Watch this. Watch the chat. Look at the chat.
Evolve into like an endless conversation about Antifa and like, you know, some angry 19-year-old. Yeah.
They're good point. And if you don't vote for Kamala, you're racist. And if you don't vote for Kamala, you're misogynist. Of course.
I'm against all that. But cops with guns and handcuffs and the power to arrest citizens, if they're corrupt, boy, there is nothing scarier than that. U.S. military officers, many of whom are like lunatics, like left-wing lunatics. And of course, the foreign policy establishment doesn't care because all they want is another profitable war, or they want to extend their wars in, you know, Ukraine, et cetera. They want a war with Iran. So they don't really care about whether the people who run the U.S. military are loyal to the Constitution of the United States. They don't care at all because they're not loyal to the United States. So, but we should care. Right. And I just really hope when you're up there, you'll encourage a forensic look at law enforcement. Number one.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry. I said it's funny. Sorry. Ultrafly says, oh, well, show me the exact thing, the exact one, the exact article that was censored. No, bro, you do some work for yourself. I'm not your bitch. Go figure it out. Do it yourself. Do a little work yourself. I'm not here to serve you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you brought up a really good point that needs to be talked about more, where if there is a way, and I'll definitely ask about this, if there is a way to put more federal power within the Portland Police Department, I don't think it's able to be saved as is. I think it would need to be totally just turned on its head, or maybe scrapped and started over. You know?
No, it's not my job. No, it's not. It's your job to do some research for yourself. Use your brain for a change. Use your brain. But you wouldn't know how to do that now, would you? I know. I'm asking for a lot. I know.
You know, that would be, you know, I feel like that might be the only way to save it, unless you can take federal control over that stuff. I think that was a really good point that you made, and I'll definitely ask about that.
Yes, Sanaz and someone else that asked about that. He didn't finish the whole conversation, but yelling fire in a crowded room. It was a straw man argument. He's just moving it around and trying to get us to go this way and that way, and without actually sticking to the point and actually realizing they're wrong on their own point.
Look, I mean, this is just what we've seen in one city so far. How many more of these cities are having the same issues that we're not talking about? I know Chicago's a hot topic and stuff right now, but you know, I'm sure, like, is this stuff happening in Seattle? Like, how many other cities are you having this same issue with corrupt political hacks that have arrest powers? I mean, that's very concerning.
Of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who's been governor since 2019, I think, running for president. And he compared Donald Trump to Hitler for sending 500 heavy-set National Guardsmen into a city of many millions to restore order in the face of very violent anti-ICE protests. Thought it might be worth getting the perspective of a former Illinois governor, someone who knows a lot about the state and the city of Chicago. He's from the city of Chicago. Former Governor Rod Blagojevich joins us now. Governor, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Tucker. Nice to talk to you.
What do you make of Pritzker's position here that 500 National Guardsmen are like the Luftwaffe. This is Nazi America, the Fourth Reich. What do you think of that?
I don't want to malign Governor Pritzker personally, but if anybody resembles a Nazi, it's Pritzker. He resembles Hermann Goering. If you take a look at photos of Goering and J.B. Pritzker.
That is so funny. I was just thinking, I was looking at his hair gel is the way he combs his Brill cream in this way. I was like, who do you remind me of? And you remind me. That's so funny. Excuse me. I agree with you.
Right. Look, if anybody's a Nazi for bringing in the National Guard, J.B. Pritzker should look in the mirror, because only a year ago, he actually brought in the National Guard to protect what? Wealthy, white, limousine liberal Democratic donors and Democratic delegates at the Democratic Convention in Chicago. He was more than happy to do that, but he won't do it when President Trump wants to send the National Guard to help and work with the Chicago police to fight crime in our city, in a city where every single day, at least one person is murdered, in a city where nearly 600 crimes are reported every single day, in a city where 80% of those murders, you see, the crime in Chicago is segregated. You know, the carjackers and the retail thieves and the armed robbers, they go all over the city. But the murders are taking place in the black neighborhoods and in the brown neighborhoods. 80% of the murders in Chicago are in the black neighborhoods, or black people. And the other 95% altogether are black people.
Guys, I'm convinced Ultrafly has a lot of wires mixed up. They're just jumbled up in that person's mind. Not able to connect anything here. It's fucking, God, that must be miserable life.
And Latinos. And so the Democrats, like Pritzker, who claim to be on the side of black people and Latinos, are basically saying, we're going to use the National.
The wires are all crossed up, dude. It's jacked up. It's beyond repair, bro.
Guard to protect donors, Democratic donors and delegates. But no, we don't want your help, Mr. President, to actually save black lives, because for those Democrats, notwithstanding their rhetoric, black lives matter only to them for their votes. And what Pritzker's doing now is he's hyper-politicizing a very serious issue. He's standing in front of the schoolhouse door like George Wallace did back in '63 when Kennedy federalized the National Guard correctly to allow 2 black students to get into the University of Alabama. Now, Pritzker is sort of a modern-day version of George Wallace in some respects, in that he's trying to block President Trump, working to block President Trump and federal law enforcement from coming to Chicago to carry out the mandate the American people gave President Trump in the last election, and that is to secure our borders and to fix the illegal migrant problems. And it's
I didn't know what this guy said earlier. He said J.B. Pritzker brought the National Guard for his own reasons earlier. State Line, were you aware of that?
undeniable that there are tens of thousands of criminals who join.
Ishtaro, love what you're saying, but please don't spam chat, bro. Thank you. Or ma'am, please don't spam chat. Thank you. We like the message, but don't spam chat, please.
Joined the nearly 4.
State Line says, yep. Oh, you didn't know about that.
Illegal immigrants have come to America, according to Pew Research. And
I did not know that.
Estimates are that conservatively 10% of those are criminals. So that means we're talking about over 1 million criminals that have come to America. And what kind of criminals are there? What are they? They are gangsters and they're drug dealers.
Bernie Smith on the Instagram side says yes to protect wealthy at the convention. So Pritzker finds it okay for the National Guard to come to protect wealthy at a convention, but not to protect ICE agents.
They're child sex traffickers.
What?
They're sex offenders.
What the?
That's amazing.
What the?
That's amazing.
And they're cold-blooded killers. And it's amazing, and it's mind-boggling to me that J.B. Pritzker would choose this issue, because his motivation is politics. He's playing to the crazy left-wing crowd in the Democrat Party. But it's really offensive and immoral that he would do something like this and stand in the way of actually following the law, because the supremacy clause in our Constitution is very clear. The federal law is supreme over state law, and he should not be resisting or working to resist federal law. So, look, I have a confession to make, Tucker. When I was governor early on, I knew him because he had contributed to Democratic politicians because he was very wealthy. and he asked me to make him director of the Illinois Human Rights Commission. So if I'm going to confess to any crime, because I didn't commit any crimes, but the near criminal thing I did was actually hiring that guy. It was a big mistake.
Did he improve human rights in the state of Illinois?
No, and you know what? I don't know. I worked with him too on the Holocaust Museum in Illinois, in Skokie, Illinois, and at that time he seemed to be a very reasonable guy. But he's changed a lot, I think, and I don't know if it. I don't know what the cause is, other than he's got the desire to run for president, be president, and notwithstanding President Taft and his success to be elected president, JB's never going to be president. I know the guy; he's got no chance.
Taft was in a 3-man race, as you'll recall, in 1912. No, I don't think he has much of a chance. It's interesting. I mean, you've been a governor. There aren't many people who've been governor of anything, and to be governor of Illinois, one of your concerns is population, the state's population, because of course, federal dollars, House seats, they're dependent on how many people live in your state. And Chicagoland, that area, has depopulated. People born in Chicago have left in amazing numbers, very similar to what's happened in California. But the population aggregate number hasn't changed that much because of the inflow from the third world. So it's a little bit like the Catholic Church is always promoting immigration because they need the seats, people in the seats. I wonder if that's part of his motivation. Like Chicago, what percentage of Chicago wasn't born in the United States? Huge.
Well, no, well, that's right. And the activists in the Democratic Party, there's so many different activist groups in the Democratic Party that push immigration rights and those sorts of issues. And look, I think you would agree. I heard your monologue, and which was profoundly interesting. I mean, most of the people that have come to America illegally, these 14 million that have crashed through our borders because Biden basically said we don't have borders, those are good people, and they're doing the work that you talked about.
I agree.
But see, they're victims, and you know who victimized them? It's these hypocritical Democrats. When they started opening up these sanctuary cities, basically saying, come on in, putting a sign up, come on into America, don't worry about our immigration laws, nobody cares, and you can come into our city and we'll protect you. Forget about what the federal law might be, which you don't even know anyway, but it's no big deal to us, come on in. And so these are well-intentioned, kind-hearted, probably innocent people who want to chase the American dream, like my immigrant father did when he came over here legally after Congress passed the Displaced Persons Act after World War II. They came here looking for an opportunity because they're committed to their families. They want to build a better life.
Yeah.
And that's the great story of America and immigration. The thing that's missing is, but you got to come legally. And they were invited to come here illegally by the Democrats. Biden didn't secure the borders, and the Democrats opened up sanctuary cities, and with all their rhetoric, basically, we're saying all these people come up here. And the reality is no country can sustain 14 million people who are here unlawfully. No. And what President Trump is doing is absolutely necessary to save our country. And hopefully down the road, maybe there can be a way where the two parties can come together and address issues like the Dreamers and these other issues that are very legitimate. But in the meantime, what you have now is a tremendous divide because the Democrats simply refuse to do anything that's good for our country because they never want to give Trump any kind of victory, and they are simply determined to never work with him.
But
at the expense of our country, the people who live in our country.
So the First Amendment is the one truly distinctive thing that makes America America. It makes this country.
Guys, I have a new announcement actually. It just happened as we're talking here. You can see me just kind of looking over to the side here. YouTube just approved my membership system here. So I'm trying to figure out how I can gift memberships, but I don't know if I can. So I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. But I have some really cool. I have a cool tier system that I created, something way better than what I think is way better than what other people are offering. But we're definitely gonna have our own chat room on Discord and a couple other things, really cool things. So I'm kind of going through it right now. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. So as soon as I figure it out, I'm going to get this over. And if I can't, it's saying I can't gift it to specific people, but it just does it by itself. So I don't know. Then give you the 30-day ones. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I heard you can gift them too. I know. That's what I heard too, and I'm looking it up, and it says no. Like the system does it.
Didn't
somehow.
write the immigration laws.
So I don't know what that means, but I'm trying to figure out how to do all this stuff, and it's a little wacky. So I don't see where it's letting me gift anything, but I have a 4-tier system, and it's going to be pretty awesome. I think it's going to be great for us to connect even more. So I'm super excited for that. You have to grant a free trial. Ultra. Okay. I need to get a USA bank account for this. You have to, okay, grant a free trial. I don't know. I'm going to check it out. Oh, dang. We got our first member already. Jen is in the house, dude. Jen already got the medium dose. She's getting medicated, bro. Holy cow. Jen is the first to join, guys. Dude. Yeah, baby. It works. It works. Ange says, Medi, I'll need a Discord for dummies. You and I both, Ange. But we have a few guys that are that said they could moderate Discord, and we'll figure it out. Jen, you are fast. I love you. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Yes. So there's a couple different tiers. She picked the mid tier, and that's the medium dose. We got micro dose, and we got medium dose, high dose, and heroic dose. Yeah, we got a couple. I have a couple different levels, and they each have more and more perks. It says refresh your screen if you don't see the join button. Go on the street and ask Antifa if they've ever heard of the Great White Hope. I know, bro.
The Great White Hope.
I gotta wear my shirt, bro, and ask them.
The Great White Hope.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Justin, on Discord? No, right here on YouTube. So it's on YouTube. If you go to my page, it'll have a place where you can hit join. And if you look, when you hit join, it'll show you the different tiers. So some pretty interesting stuff on there. You'll see I set up something that I think is way better than what I see other people offering. So Benjamin says, I need heroic dose. I like high as I can be, LOL. Med is Hans says, Med OnlyFans. Oh my god, bro, you guys are crazy. Snazzy says, microdose of what exactly here? Microdose. What does what does oh my god, bro. Yeah, so damn, that just got approved and got dialed in. Holy cow. Let me do a refresh. And there it is. There's Jen. Awesome. I love it, dude. That's so cool. Wow, very cool. Yeah. All right. Sweet. So this is up and running and we're dialed in. And I want to take a look and see here. Yeah. Yep. Okay, everything's on. Everything's on and ready to rock and roll. Looking good, guys. Oh, yeah, she's got the personalized emojis. I got to work on them. So if they're good enough. Oh, look at those, dude. Yeah, so she's got the emoji, and I'm going to work on customizing the... I have to customize the... all the badges. Justin, welcome, bro. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for joining, man. Awesome. Love it, dude. Thank you so much.
The Great White Hope. The Great White Hope. The Great White Hope.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, dude, I love it, dude. Thank you for supporting me, honestly. Thank you so much. Yeah, Justin got the microdose. And you got emojis. I already put a couple of them. Great White Hope. That's a lie.
What the?
Where's the other one, bro? Where is it?
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Great White Hope. Hell yeah, bro. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jen. Dude, it's so cool. So cool, dude. Love to see those. I'm gonna make some good emojis, some good badges, and we're gonna flex, dude. So we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
Hell yeah.
I don't know where you're getting your statistics.
That's a lie.
That's amazing.
I gotta put that's amazing in there. I don't have that yet, so I got more stuff coming. I got more coming, dude. Hell yeah. Stabby says, I know you're distracted with the stream stuff, but look into the Pritzker sometimes. Look into Pritzker sometimes. He was on the other end of the wiretap calls that landed Blagojevich in prison. Huh. Okay. Miguel, thanks for coming, man. Thank you for coming. Thanks for subscribing, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you. Awesome, awesome.
Beta male.
This is not the Elmo we know. This is a different Elmo. We got another Elmo, guys. Holy cow. What happened to our favorite Elmo? Dang, dude. All right. So I'm going to work, guys. I'm going to work on emojis. I'm going to work on badges and all that stuff so we can use them in chat. Dude, love to see the star next to the name. That's sick, dude. Hell yeah. Thank you guys, bro. Thank you. All right.
I mean, they were
I'm going to continue this. Thank you guys, dude. Love you guys.
written by Congress, passed by Congress. He hasn't even signed any immigration law. They have nothing to do.
Stabby says Pritzker is super corrupt, but he's also given millions to the judge. Is super corrupt, but he's also given millions to judges to keep them in his pocket. And that's just the officially reported donations. State Line says so State Line knows because he's from there. He says he also mandated COVID testing on us as co-owner investor in 2 testing companies. Every test gave a false positive with how they did it, so we had to retest several times. Wow. Is it our Elmo? It's our Elmo? Is it? Why am I reading it wrong? Oh man, I'm sorry, bro. Holy cow. It is our, I was like, dude, because I was, maybe I just wasn't reading. Dude, I might be just tripping today, dude. My bad, Elmo. Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. Dude, tell me, did you like the tier system for MedikationLIVE? Low dose, microdose, heroic dose? Pretty good, right? Damn, bro. Wow, you guys know the lowdown on Pritzker. We gotta dive into Pritzker.
They pre-exist his presidency, so he's trying to enforce existing law, and they are abetting.
Sorry, Elmo, my bad, bro. I don't know why I wasn't seeing it.
Breaking that law. So it does seem like
heroic dose, bro. Heroic dose.
Insurrection to me. I mean, if a state won't obey like a core federal law, like immigration law, then where does that leave us? Honestly, like how can we share a union?
No, your question's you properly raised. You talked about Civil War, and you think back to the days leading up to our Civil War, and I like to think we're not even close to that. But you're right to raise it because you could see how there's this slippery slope that we're going down, and it was the defiance of federal law. Lincoln getting elected, and different states decided we don't want to be under that election with that president, so we're leaving. And before that, they were defying federal law, and we saw what happened. Now you have a situation where not only has President Trump been given a mandate by the American people to do what he's doing, but you also have a situation where we know that it works when there's cooperation. So the success that President Trump has had with the National Guard in Washington, D.C., was in part because the mayor there, Bowser, was willing to accept that and work with him. And, you know, they can get into nuances. Oh, well, that's a federal
Dude, Jen's the best, dude. Love you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you do. Hell yeah.
city versus a, you know, a city like
Right.
Chicago. But if you're the governor of the state of Illinois or the mayor of Chicago, you have an obligation to your citizens to keep them safe. And the National Guard coming into Chicago with all the crime we have and the need to support ICE in its efforts to follow the law and do what's necessary to follow the law.
Agree, Justin.
You would think that a governor, irrespective of party, would welcome that support and thank the president and then take credit for the success of protecting American citizens and American taxpayers. But our politics has gotten so crazy, and the Democratic Party is such a crazy party now, with the lunatic fringe becoming the mainstream, and guys who were somewhat reasonable like J.B. Pritzker being transformed. What he's trying to become is basically AOC in drag. Okay, he's trying to like get into her politics as opposed to sort of being the Bill Clinton type Democrat that supposedly he used to be. And the Democrat Party doesn't seem to have room for the Bill Clinton Democrats anymore, or the JFK Democrats anymore. This is a party that's been taken over by that left wing radical fringe.
Who's Johnson, Eric?
That is no longer the radical fringe; it's now the radical mainstream, and it's a socialist, communist kind of party. And it's a party, and our governor again that is basically siding with mob violence and anarchy and chaos over the law, the rule of law, law enforcement, and those who have to enforce the rule of law. And that's what this conflict is now. And that's why it's a seminal moment in our history. And it's why I think President Trump is going to go down probably 150 years from now, because historians can't be objective, as one of our great presidents, because I do believe he's going to be successful in this and solve this problem because he has the law on his side.
I mean, if he doesn't solve it, then we're in for disunion ahead. I mean, I don't see how you can have in a state with no internal, in a country with no internal.
Johnson, bro, has his whole city against him. It seems like anyway. It's I'm surprised that he's still able to do what he does. I mean, you see City Hall, you see all kinds of meetings where they're just, dude, they're fed up with that dude. John, I don't know how, dude, I don't get
internal
it.
Passports. How you can have some states following immigration law.
But I guess when you become mayor, I mean, there's nothing, we're stuck with you, right?
And others ignoring it, it doesn't work. I mean, it just practically doesn't work. So I really hope it can be solved. Do you think in the Democratic Party, which obviously you know a lot about, there are any candidates on the horizon who are reform candidates like Bill Clinton in 92, like, okay, we went too crazy. We need to pull back a little bit and reorient around America's interests, who even say words like that? Do you see any of those?
I think the nearest thing to that would be Senator Fetterman in Pennsylvania, the guy that wears the hoodie.
Good night, bro. Good night, Benjamin. Are you out, bro?
Yeah. He seems to be sensible and willing to find common ground and work and support traditional things that that all Americans have historically been for, what the old Democratic Party used to be for. So I think there is at least one lone voice in that party. I haven't completely written myself off as a
Night State Line. We're probably gonna call it soon too, guys. So this is almost over, and once this is done, I'm gonna call it. Got dinner sitting here waiting. Haven't eaten it. I hate eating in front of you guys, and got to get a whole bunch of other stuff done before I go to bed. So, Hans has work at 7, bro. I mean, I'm gonna get up and catch the sunrise tomorrow morning too. So. Oh, okay. Stay line. Sorry, bro. I thought you were saying okay. And then we have Justin. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for the first tranny militia to pop out of the woods. Just a bunch of he/she's tiptoeing around.
Democrat, believe it or not. I mean, I can't begin to tell you. I'm a Trumpocrat. I say that openly, and I'm so proud to be that, and grateful to President Trump personally. But frankly, put that aside, I think he's a great president, a necessary president, and he's doing things that must be done to save our country and then make it great again. First, we have to save our country. But no, the hatred and the vitriol on the far left Democrat side is palpable. I live in a neighborhood.
Good night, Ange.
Vote for me a lot. And I was out on the street the other day, Tucker. I came back from downtown Chicago, and some
State Line, let me know. Keep me up to date with when you're going there. I mean, I don't know if you can live stream, but then I'd love to grab that. Or if you just do video, I'll post it.
Took a double take, recognized it was me.
Yeah.
Then he gives me the finger. And
whatever you prefer, man.
A guy like that gives me the finger. I'm gonna, probably give him an FU or give him the finger back. But then I wasn't sure whether it was a man or a woman, and I'm trying not to swear at women, so I had to hold my tongue. But that's sort of the element that's now a large, loud voice within the Democratic Party. And
State Line, do you think you'll be talking to people, interviewing people, or I don't know, having conversations at all?
thank you for the work that you're doing, because I love our country, notwithstanding what my government's done to me. I love my country. I've lived the American dream myself. There's no place like America. And this is the last best hope on earth, as Lincoln said, a true and a great Illinoisan. But thank you for the work that you're doing, because I believe, and I know you do too, that the forgotten American, the great, vast, silent majority that Nixon talked about and changed American politics, it still exists. It's what elected Trump last November. People with common sense, believe in God, love our country, don't burn the flag, don't like people who burn the flag, believe in the traditional values of our country. They still make up most of the Americans, and I still believe actually most of rank and file Democratic voters. If those Democrat voters can get over the fact that they've been lifelong Democrats, because it's hard to change your love for your team, they can get over that, and they're increasingly going to leave the Democratic Party, as they're doing, and that Democrat Party is going to increasingly become a party of crazy left-wingers, and whoever gets the nomination, whoever the Republican candidate is against them in 2 years, I think it's going to have a long, hard time to be able to win. I think our country is waking up, and I think President Trump has been at the vanguard of that. And I'm not the only Trumpocrat out there, Democrat for Trump.
You're definitely the most articulate. Rod Blagojevich, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Good to talk to you again, Tucker. Thank you.
Great to talk to you. Thank you. And thanks for joining us tonight. The fourth installment of our live experiment continues. We'll be back next Wednesday at 6 Eastern. Thanks a lot.
All right. So before we go, I want to just look at a couple of Instagram things that I don't know. I haven't even seen them, but I thought I missed some the other day. I'm sorry, this morning. Okay, there's that one. Trying to see here. What were some of them that I had here? What did we have here?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, yesterday.
Has crime impacted your businesses?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, yesterday morning, I was broken again for the 10th time. I will say that the police responded very quickly, which was better ticket times as far as getting them to the site quicker. So that was very helpful.
Wow. How do you feel about National Guard in Portland? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
We need help here, and something needs to be done. So if this
State Line, let me know also if you want me to do any kind of special mentions, or if you want me to follow any of these guys, or you want me to do a shout out to some of them, or if you want me to repost one of their posts, or something along those lines, let me know that as well, dude. I'm happy to help.
Is what we need to do to get our leaders paying attention to what's happening in Portland, then I think it's a good thing. We've been struggling for a long time, since 2020, and it's really difficult to do business in downtown Portland, and we need all the help we can get. And if this creates a little bit of peace in our city and shows that there really is some issues happening, then I think that it's for the best.
Has crime impacted your businesses?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, yesterday morning, I was broken again for the 10th time. I will say that the police responded very quickly, which was
I agree, Elmo.
better ticket times as far as getting them to the site quicker. So that was very helpful.
Wow. How do you feel about National Guard in Portland? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
We need help here, and something needs to be done. So if this is what we need to do to get our leaders paying attention to what's happening in Portland, then I think it's a good thing. We've been struggling for a long time, since 2020, and it's really difficult to do business in downtown Portland, and we need all the help we can get. And if this creates a little bit of peace in our city and shows that there really is some issues happening, then I think that it's for the best.
Has crime impacted your businesses?
Okay, you said to follow someone. Let me see here. Packing Patriot. Packing Patriot. Is it this first one? Tony Smith. Packing Patriot .2. This one right here. This guy. Yes. Okay. I'll give him a follow. And then let me know. Let me know if you watch the video with the red hair guy. This guy.
We are back safe from the Broadview ICE facility just west of Chicago. My brother and I are both back. I want to show you a clip. This was me running into the Jolly Good Ginger. You may know him from Cam Higbee recently pushing him on his back and him laying there like a turtle. This video right here, watch.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Get the f*** away.
I don't want to play it just in case I get I'll get hit with like something from YouTube. I will watch this on my own, but I did give him a follow. Again, as I was saying, bro, let me know if you want me to, help him in any way, repost for him or, do whatever. I'm down. Yeah. Down for the cause, bro. Yeah, down to help. Anyways, guys, it's officially 10 p.m. in Southern California. Bro, even if I mute it, like their bots or whatever, their AI like catches, if there's violence or anything like that, it won't go down. And it's not worth risking it, especially, on a, we are on 2.5 hour live going on 2 hours, 40 minutes. Yep. 1 a.m. in DC, about to head out. Appreciate you guys, dude. Justin, thanks again. Jen, thank you again. Love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. Nothing but love, dude, for you guys. And yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I got some work for my businesses to do before I go to bed. I got more stuff to do for this stuff, for the streaming before I go to bed. And then I got to wake up for sunrise bright and early in the morning. And we go from there. By the way, guys, on my way out, I'm going to show you, this is the sunrise right here. If you've seen, I do photography. So, actually, you don't even have my most recent sunrise there. Where is that one? These are this is one of my sunrises right here. Oh, you can't even see it on the screen. Wow. Never mind. You could see it in this part of your screen in the top. But, if you look on here, and you look on here, this right here, guys, is a really cool one. I just posted this on my Instagram page. That's an actual sunrise. So I'll be going out to catch hopefully another one of these or similar. Yep. Yep. Right on, guys. Sweet. So thanks again. Appreciate you guys. These are some of the photos I got. That's me right there. And the moon, October moon is upon us. Again, guys, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Jen. You are amazing as always. Love you. Love you guys. Thank you, State Line. Thank you, everyone. And have a good night. I'll see you mañana.